New England has some of the most beautiful states in the U.S., with a variety of geography, from Lake Champlain in Vermont to the covered bridges and the jagged coastlines of Bar Harbor, Maine, the White Mountains, Green Mountain Range, and the northern end of the Appalachians. In the fall, the color is absolutely stunning. In this video, we'll give you tips about where to visit. Because this is a very long video, I put in chapter marks so you can go directly to the town or state that you want to see. We'll start out showing the small towns of Vermont. Then at the 39-minute mark, we'll show Lake Winnipesaukee and the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Rhode Island will be at the 1 hour and 14-minute mark. Boston at 1 hour and 43 minutes. And finally, at the 2 hour and 19-minute mark is Maine. We'll also show a little bit of Connecticut and Massachusetts. We are Tampa Aerial Media. We film in Florida in the winter and spring, and across the U.S. in the summer and fall. I try to give you detailed info to save money and time as you plan your getaways. Our cross-country trip this year has been delayed due to a move, but Bailey and I will get back on the road soon. I appreciate all of your comments. So join us as we show gorgeous New England. We fill our lives with so much stuff, accumulating things. It often steals our time and energy and creates stress. A getaway here can, through its natural beauty, its quaint small towns, bring us back to the simple life, to things that really matter. Faith, relationships, enjoying God's creation, being thankful for what we have, to fully live in the moment, unburdened by stuff and technology. From the shores of Lake Champlain, across the Green Mountains to the Connecticut River. In Vermont, nature is calling us to explore. Have you ever experienced a scenic drive along the Ottauquechee River, traveled through the Middlebury Gap, hiked in the Green Mountains, biked on the Island Line Trail? How about taking a ferry across Lake Champlain, or ridden on Amtrak's Vermonter? If you have, you'll understand why many say this is the most beautiful state in the U.S. Across its lush grassland valleys, you'll find general stores, more than 100 covered bridges, farm-to-table dining, vintage architecture.
You want some of my maple creamy?
And most importantly, maple creamies. In Burlington, we'll cruise on the spirit of Ethan Allen. Show you the Champlain Valley Dinner Train, take you to Shelburne Farms and Church Street Marketplace. We'll travel to Brattleboro, Bennington, Putney, Bellows Falls, Middlebury, Montpelier, and Lake Willoughby. We'll drive on some of the most scenic highways and roads in Vermont, like Route 100, Route 125, the Molly Stark Trail, and U.S. Highway 5 along the Connecticut River, and the Mohawk Trail in northern Massachusetts. We'll give tips on lodging and dining for your Vermont getaway. Join us as we explore vibrant, beautiful, and colorful Vermont. Being that we came from Boston, we headed west through Massachusetts and decided to take one of the most scenic roads in the U.S., the Mohawk Trail. It crosses the Connecticut River about 11 miles south of the Vermont border and follows the river for about 5 miles. There's a scenic spot here in Gill, Massachusetts, overlooking the Turner Falls Dam and Turner Gill Bridge, where the river does a horseshoe bend. Further upstream, the Connecticut River is the border between Vermont and New Hampshire. Turner Falls is one of Massachusetts' hidden gems, great place to visit with fishing, boating, parks, and the falls. Continuing west on the Mohawk Trail, another place you might want to check out is the town of Shelburne Falls. Nestled in the Berkshire foothills, alongside the Deerfield River. It is famous for this bridge of flowers next to the steel bridge, but currently closed for a $3 million restoration project. The Mohawk Trail then runs along the Deerfield River, and further down the Cold River for some of the most scenic parts of the trail. It is a lot like Vermont here, with over 100 attractions, country inns, gift shops, and camping areas along the highway. The Mohawk Park campground here, with RV and tent sites, as well as 6 rustic cabins on the Deerfield River. The Mohawk Trail climbs to an elevation of 2,000 feet at the Wigwam Western Summit, where there's a sky bar, a coffee house, and a bakery, and the Golden Eagle Restaurant and Lounge, with a breathtaking view of the Taconic Mountain Range, one of the best views in New England. So, if you are heading to western Vermont from Boston, you might want to consider the Mohawk Trail. It is a total of 69 miles and ends in Williamstown, where we pick up US 7 and head to Vermont. We arrive in Bennington, which was Vermont's first chartered town way back in 1749 as a New Hampshire territory. In Vermont, you won't find any skyscrapers. In fact, this Bennington Battle Monument at 306 feet is the tallest structure in Vermont. It commemorates the Battle of Bennington during the Revolutionary War, built in 1891. From late May through October, you can take an elevator to the top. It is $8 for adults, $2 for children 6 to 14. Bennington has 3 different historic districts. There's Old Bennington, North Bennington, where the paper mill and Silk Road covered bridges are at, and this is Main Street, downtown Bennington. Here, Route 9 becomes the Molly Stark Trail, a scenic byway. This 48-mile route between Bennington and Brattleboro is Vermont's southernmost scenic drive. In Wilmington is the Harriman Reservoir, Vermont's second largest lake. Wilmington is midway between Bennington and Brattleboro. It's the southern terminus of the Green Mountains, a small town with restaurants with live music. In winter, there's world-class skiing with the Mount Snow Resort 10 miles north of downtown. And in the summer, the Molly Stark State Park 3 miles east of downtown. For a while, Highway 9 and Route 100 share the same roadway here. We'll catch up to Route 100 later in the video. And the Hogback Mountain Conservation Area, where there's the 100-mile view, overlook with a nice view of Wilmington. In Brattleboro, we arrive at the Creamery Covered Bridge, built in 1879. Brattleboro, once known for a variety of covered railroad and highway bridges, this is the only one to survive. Brattleboro is 10 miles north of the Massachusetts state line. On the banks of the Connecticut River, this has long been a magnet for artists, writers, and poets. A scenic rustic downtown where you'll find plenty of unique and artistic shops, galleries, restaurants, and pubs. First Friday of each month, 5 to 9 p.m. from May through December, is the Gallery Walk with live music, food trucks, and interactive art stations. In winter, there's Market on Main, a seasonal holiday market, which transforms Brattleboro to a winter wonderland on the weekend. The Latches Art Deco style theater, showing first run in indie movies with live shows. For coffee, there's Amy's Bakery, with a variety of pastries and dining overlooking the railroad tracks. Across the street is the Works Cafe, a counter-serve cafe for breakfast, pastries, sandwiches, and coffee. In the middle of downtown, a nice park area to enjoy your cup of brew. We head west of downtown on one of Vermont's many picturesque dirt roads. Vermont has over 8,500 miles of dirt roads, which is more than the state's paved roads. A popular attraction in Brattleboro is the Robb Family Farm Sugar House. For you RVers, this is also a Harvest Host location. It's a 15-minute drive from downtown Brattleboro. You can pick up some syrup products like maple syrup, cream, and brittle. They are very friendly, and you see the process of how maple is harvested and created into syrup.
Tap it in, sap runs down through into those lines and that little pump house. So in here, all we're doing is taking out water. We're all wood fired. If you just hold it up to the light, that gives you your colors.
We stayed at this travel lodge in Brattleboro. A pet-friendly, reasonably priced lodging and decent clean room. 15 minutes north of Brattleboro is Putney, a gorgeous region with hiking trails, wineries, and orchards. There's the Putney Mountain Hawk Watch, an easy 1.3-mile hike, where in the spring and fall you'll see hawks. More scenic dirt roads as we head to Green Mountain Orchards. Here you can pick your own fruit. The season begins in mid-July with blueberries, and apples ripen around the end of August. They also have peaches and raspberries and plums on a limited basis. Inside, some delicious baked items.
It's a pumpkin walnut muffin, one of the best muffins I've tasted.
They also host the Winter Putney's Farmers Market every Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., from Thanksgiving to Christmas. And the Summer Farmers Market is held in downtown Putney on Highway 5, across from the Putney Food Co-op, from mid-May to mid-October. Further up Highway 5 is Harlow's Sugar House, where you can enjoy a maple creamy or stroll through an orchard. 14 miles north of Putney is the village of Bellows Falls, located on the rushing waters of the Connecticut River. Here is one of the first canals built in the U.S. Multiple vintage bridges make this a very scenic village. At the Bellows Falls Fish Ladder Nature Museum, you can take a peek underneath the water and explore interpretive exhibits. Open Fridays and Sundays from Memorial Day through Labor Day weekend. This downtown historic district features the distinctive Bellows Falls Opera House in the center of downtown. A 6-story clock tower built in 1926, today a cozy movie theater with contemporary films and classic movie nights every other Wednesday. The Green Mountain, Boston, and Maine Railroad Bridge here, and the Bellows Falls Hydroelectric Dam. On the other side of the river is North Walpole, New Hampshire, and way off in the distance, Mount Ascutney. Continuing north on US 5, we cross the Williams River. US 5 parallels I-91. 20 miles north of Bellows Falls is Wilga State Park, a good place for kayaking on the Connecticut River, as well as hiking. Now crossing over I-91. We enter the town of Windsor, where there's lots of outdoor activities, most notably hiking trails climbing Mount Ascutney. This is one of the most popular mountain summits of the state. It is a 12-mile round-trip trail and takes about 3.5 to 4 hours to do. Also here, the Cornish-Windsor Bridge, a 2-span lattice truss covered bridge. When it opened in 1866, it cost 2 cents for foot travelers to travel to New Hampshire, but 3 cents to return to Vermont. Another mile north of the bridge is the old Constitution House, the birthplace of the Constitution of Vermont, and next to that, a linear park area on Lake Runnymede. The village of White River Junction is in the town of Hartford. This is where the Connecticut and the White Rivers come together, and also where I-89 and I-91 cross. It is also a stop for Amtrak's Vermonter, which crosses the state with scenic vistas of the Green Mountains. It also goes to New York City and Washington, D.C. Being that White River Junction is just 15 minutes from Quechee and 30 minutes from Woodstock, it can be a good place to stay with less expensive options for lodging. We stayed at the Super 8, one of the better Super 8s, well maintained. And it's pet friendly. And there's a really good Chinese buffet here, China Moon Buffet. There's also a good dog park on the river. This big dog, Kevin, really loving Bailey, but Bailey says, "I'm not so sure." Quechee State Park, one of the most beautiful state parks of Vermont. At 165 feet deep, this is the deepest gorge in Vermont and can be viewed from the Route 4 bridge. There's easy hiking trails on both sides of the Ottaquechee River, and camping with cabins, and kayaking within the park. It's $5 for adults, $2 for children 4 to 13. 15 minutes from the Quechee Gorge is the village of Woodstock, which I think might be the most beautiful town in the U.S. A quaint, essential New England village with a quaint main street, restored historic homes, with the Ottauquechee River running through it. So picturesque. There's the Taftsville Covered Bridge here, perhaps the most scenic covered bridge in Vermont because of its location being on the Ottauquechee River and next to this Taftsville Dam. Now, if you cross the bridge, there's a scenic road along the river you must take. Old River Road runs 3 miles from the Taftsville Bridge to the Billings Farm and Museum. I'd recommend to pick a sunny morning to travel through here, with the early morning sun peeking through the trees and the reflection of the Ottauquechee River, with a mixture of forested and lush farmlands. Just amazing. It ends up on the back side of the Billings Farm and Museum. This is an active working farm. The museum is dedicated to scientific farming history, with interactive exhibits and demonstrations. There's over 70 Jersey cows, which are constantly milking. Also 2 draft horses, 2 steers, Berkshire pigs, goats, and sheep. You are able to pet the animals in the barns, but not in the pastures. It's open throughout the year. It's $19 for adults, $12 for children 3 to 15. We cross back over the Ottauquechee River on the Elm Street Bridge. Woodstock is the perfect location for a romantic getaway with a bed and breakfast. You have many options here. You can find them on Vrbo. On the downtown side of the river is a new park only a couple years old, East End Park, with the amphitheater. You'll find regular events. In the summer, there's music by the river, Friday evening, 6 p.m. to 7:30. Picnic tables along the river, and also the Ottauquechee River Trail, a 3-mile walking trail along the river. Parts of it over the former Woodstock Railroad. This is not a bike path, but there is good biking in Woodstock. You'll find the Route 4 Bikes truck here, where you can rent bikes. Next to the park is the Ottauquechee Yacht Club, where you can enjoy a meal on picnic tables outdoors. And also, next to Easton Park is the Shire Hotel on the river. You can find on Booking.com. They are pet-friendly for a $30 per day pet fee. Continuing on US 4, there's the Montvert Cafe with nice patio seating, farm-to-table food for breakfast and lunch, and great coffee. They can get crowded in the summer and fall, so come early. So, if you pick a handful of towns to visit in Vermont, Woodstock should definitely be one of them. On the west end of Woodstock is The Green, a linear park in the middle of US 4. And another 3.5 miles from downtown on US 4 is the Lincoln Covered Bridge. We're going to head towards Burlington. We're going to take a couple of the most scenic highways in the state to get there. First, we pick up Route 100 near the Killington Resort, which is considered one of the top ski resorts on the East Coast. Route 100 travels nearly the entire state of Vermont, some 216 miles. It begins at the Massachusetts state line, runs through the center of the state, along the eastern border of the Green Mountain National Forest, and ends in Newport, Vermont, near the Canadian border. Newport is beautiful. We showed in our previous Vermont video. Just north of US 4 is the pet-friendly Gifford Woods State Park. This is at the base of the Killington and Pico Mountain peaks. It's a favorite for hikers and bikers. We saw the Appalachian Trail last week in our Blue Ridge, Georgia video, just 4 miles from its start. Well, here we are 1,711 miles up the trail, which goes through Gifford Woods and around the Camp Pond on its way to New Hampshire and Maine. This is the pesky Cairn Trail. A easy 4-mile out and back trail, good for mountain bikers. And there's the Kent Brook Trail, a hiking-only trail, just over 1.5 miles long. Within the park, there are also 4 cabins, as well as 21 tent and RV sites for camping. Further north on Route 100, we arrive in Pittsfield. Here there's the pet-friendly Clear River Inn and Tavern. Pittsfield is surrounded by rolling hills and close to numerous lakes and rivers. There's tubing on the Tweed River here. A good place to make a pit stop on your Route 100 journey is the Original General Store. They have locally sourced foods, wraps, juices, coffee, and a chocolate bar. A vintage front porch to enjoy the country setting. Another 4 miles up Route 100 is the gorgeous village of Stockbridge. The White River flows through the valley here. You'll find 2 golf courses here as well, the White River Golf Club and the Green Mountain National Golf Course. And there is also good hiking and fishing here too. And finally, there's Rochester, Vermont. On the right, Sandy's Books and Bakery with good espresso and lattes. Also, the Maple Soul, farm-to-table food in a cozy eatery with a fireplace. At Hancock, Vermont, we leave Route 100, turn left on Vermont 125. On the corner here, the old Hancock Hotel, now a dine-in restaurant. On the left, there's Hubbard's Country Store, a good stop for sandwiches, pizza, or macaroons. This route goes for 35 miles total. Beginning here in Hancock, following the Hancock branch of the White River, through Robert Frost country, and ending near the Champlain Bridge. Four miles from Route 100 is the Texas Falls Recreation Area. These are just the little falls, but the bigger Texas Falls on the trail is 35 feet. There's the Texas Falls Nature Trail, a 1.2-mile loop trail, and the Hancock Trail, a 1.3-mile trail that crosses the river 3 times. Another 3.5 miles up the road is where the Long Trail crosses Route 125. You can follow it on either side of the road. As the name implies, it's long. At 272 miles, considered the oldest footpath in the U.S. Follows the main ridge of the Green Mountains from Massachusetts state border to the Canadian border. It shares about 100 miles with the Appalachian Trail. We passed by the Vermont House at Bread Loaf, a historic 4-bedroom vacation rental you can book on Vrbo. 7 miles from Texas Falls is a couple of Robert Frost parks. First, the Wayside Park on the north side of the highway. Here you see a little history of the region and Robert Frost, a poet who was inspired by Vermont's landscape. He spent 40 years of his life living and visiting this area of Vermont with a summer cabin. A quarter of a mile down the road, on the south side of Route 125, is the Robert Frost Interpretive Trail. This is an easy ADA accessible 0.9-mile trail with boardwalks. Has poems of Robert Frost along the way. Frost wrote 5 volumes of poetry while in this Ripon, Vermont region. You can understand why he was so inspired here. The calm sound of the south branch of the Middlebury River is just so relaxing. We arrive in the town of Middlebury, which I believe is one of the most beautiful towns of Vermont, set in the foothills of the Green Mountains. We show more of it in our previous Vermont video. Otter Creek runs through downtown. There's footbridges, waterfalls, museums, a theater, and many restaurants. From here, Burlington is just an hour's drive up US Highway 7. Now, lodging in Burlington can be very expensive in the summer and fall. In fact, I found the hotels in Burlington more than 3 times what they cost across Lake Champlain in New York. So I suggest if you don't mind about an hour of traveling time to and from Burlington, try staying in either Plattsburgh, New York or Ticonderoga, New York. And by doing this, you not only save money, but also enjoy a scenic ferry ride across Lake Champlain, as well as a scenic drive through the Champlain Valley. If staying in Plattsburgh, you would take the Plattsburgh Grand Isle Ferry. Now, we stayed at this pet-friendly Super 8 in Ticonderoga, New York. A good hotel and inexpensive. You have the southernmost crossing here, the Fort Ticonderoga Ferry, although this ferry is only open May through October.
My name's Jack Doyle. I own this thing.
Okay.
And it's a bit of a labor of love, but, you know, it's very cool. As I said, it's the baptismal font of the Republic.
Crossings take 7 minutes. It's $12 one way or $20 round trip. Additional passengers $4. It is cash only. About 30 miles up the lake is the Charlotte-Essex Ferry. It is $11.75 each way. Additional passengers $5.25 for adults, $3 children 6 to 12. This ferry does accept credit cards and accepts vehicles up to 40 tons. You get scenic views of the Adirondack Mountains as you depart New York. This ferry does operate year-round, although in winter it may not operate if there's high winds or ice blockages. And it's a more limited schedule in winter. Nice views of the Green Mountains that we just drove through. It drops you off about 50 miles south of Burlington. And your other option is to just use the Champlain Bridge. This is about 20 miles south of the Essex-Charlotte Ferry. The Champlain Memorial Lighthouse. There's the Crown Point Campground here, where you can camp for $18 a night. By crossing here, you get a nice scenic drive up Route 17 and 22A through the Champlain Valley. The Fort Ticonderoga Ferry will also get you the same drive up Route 22A from a little further south, and then you connect with US 7. Just 10 minutes south of Burlington, on US 7, one of the most popular attractions in Vermont is the Shelburne Museum. Located on 45 acres with 39 exhibition buildings and 22 gardens. While it is spread out, there are shuttles to save a little walking. It showcases art, design, and Americana. There's concerts here during the summer. It is open from mid-May through the third week of October. There's winter lights from mid-November to the first week of January. It is $25 for adults, $14 for youth 13 to 17, and $12 for children 5 to 12. A couple of miles from the museum is Shelburne Farms, with a preserved Gilded Age barn built in 1891. This is a 1,400-acre working farm with a variety of barnyard animals, from a brown Swiss calf to goats, sheep, donkeys, pigs, and more. The views and the setting is just gorgeous on the shores of Lake Champlain. There's a bakery and food cart from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. where you can enjoy farm-grown lunch and snacks. Also a woodworking shop. On selected days, you can watch them make cheese. There's more than 10 miles of trails that meander through the fields, pastures, and forests, and to the lake. Be aware the trails to the inn and the lakeshore is a 4-mile round trip from the Welcome Center. They also have lodging at the inn with 24 rooms and 5 cottages. The barn activities, lodging, and tours are from mid-May to mid-October, but the trails, the farm store, and the pastures of animals are open year-round. There is no fee to visit the farm, but there is a charge for some of the activities, like a tour of the farm in a wagon. You just check in at the Welcome Center for a visitor guide with a trail map. And we finally arrived in Burlington. It is Vermont's most populated municipality, but even so, it's only around 45,000 people. Only 5% of Vermont's municipalities are cities. The rest of them are towns or villages, which is one of the things that make Vermont unique. For parking along the waterfront, the bigger lots are $20 a day, but there's metered parking along the street for a reasonable $1 an hour with a 3-hour limit. The Burlington Trolley offers a 1-hour narrated tour for $35 through downtown, Winooski, Old North End, and the Intervale, an agricultural neighborhood. They also offer a 3.5-hour fall foliage tour. We're going to hop on a boat tour, but just across the boat dock is the Skinny Pancake, a local chain featuring breakfast, crepes, panini, and homegrown delicious maple syrup. You place your order inside and they bring it out to you. I'm having a Noah's Ark on their menu. Includes Frumple cinnamon sugar sweet crepes. Alright, let's take you on Lake Champlain. The Spirit of Ethan Allen operates May through October. We passed the Splash at the Boathouse, a seafood restaurant with dining on a floating dock. This triple-deck ship offers daily scenic lunch, brunch, and nightly themed dinner cruises, or you can just do it as a sightseeing cruise. It is a 2.5-hour tour. The cruise without the meal is $37 for adults, $16 for children 3 to 11, and $5 for infants. A sunset cruise add $9. The lunch cruise is about $49 and the dinner cruise $70. You get great views of both the Green Mountains and the Adirondack Mountains of New York. We passed by North Beach Park. We'll bike around there a little later to show you more. Next to North Beach is Rock Point, which offers 2 miles of hiking trails. Best way to access this area is by parking at Letty Park and walking south on the bike path to the Holy Trinity Trailhead. This ship is named after one of the founders of Vermont, Ethan Allen, a military officer who helped capture Fort Ticonderoga during the Revolutionary War. Lake Champlain is the 6th largest freshwater lake in the country. At 124 miles long, it forms much of the western border of Vermont. It is 14 miles wide at its widest point here in Burlington. Perkins Pier is a nice little park with a playground, picnic areas, and several benches overlooking Lake Champlain. This is a great spot to watch the sunset or to access the Island Line bike trail. Parking here is $3 per hour, May through October, $2 per hour the rest of the year. Payable through the Park mobile app or at the kiosk. Alright, let's hop on a bike. But first, Bailey wants to try one of Vermont's favorite desserts.
You want some of my maple creamy?
There's a little ice cream stand right here on the Island Line Trail, across from the train station. They call it a creamy because it's creamier, denser, and richer than regular soft-serve ice cream. If you don't have a bike, you can rent one here at Locomotion Bike Rentals. The Island Line Trail is a 13-mile trail along Lake Champlain, rolling through waterfront parks in Burlington and Colchester. It crosses the lake on a 3-mile causeway. It follows the route of the Island Line Railroad.
We could wander as far as the eye can see. I want to take you with me. Where do you want to go? Imagine the way it could be if life was an open road. Come on and take it easy. See the whole world up close. Let's get lost in the great unknown.
And it travels along North End Beach and Rock Point mentioned earlier that we saw from the boat. E-bikes are allowed on the trail. It is mostly paved. There is a small part of it that turns into fine gravel. Just a very pleasant ride. On the waterfront is Union Station, where Amtrak's Ethan Allen Express provides daily service between New York City and Burlington. And this is also where you board the Champlain Valley Dinner Train by Vermont Rail System. This is a relaxing 3-hour round trip from Burlington to Vergennes while you enjoy a 3-course meal. It operates between mid-June to the end of October. It is $200 for 2 people for a shared table, or $300 for a private table, or $345 for 3 people, or $400 for 4 people. Now it's time for a bite to eat. There's Shanty on the Shore, across from Perkins Pier, a seafood restaurant with a raw bar and surf and turf menu. And another place with similar second-floor outdoor seating is Burlington Bay Market and Cafe, a counter-serve eatery. I'm having a blackened salmon sandwich. And on the first floor, you can get creamies. Before we leave Burlington, I want to show you a little of downtown. 5 blocks from the waterfront is the Church Street Marketplace, and adjacent to that is City Hall Park. Here at this Himalayan Delight food kiosk, you can get dumplings native to Nepal with sesame and maple sauces. This neoclassical Burlington City Hall was built in 1928. The Church Street Marketplace is an outdoor pedestrian mall. Reminds me a lot of Pearl Street Mall in Boulder City, Colorado. Like Boulder, it is near a college. Here, the University of Vermont, just a few blocks away. There are decorated boulders to sit or play on. Lots of patio dining on the brick-paved mall under the gorgeous trees. For lattes or espressos, there's Black Cap Coffee and Bakery. You'll find Burlington to be very dog-friendly. Bailey saying hello to Gracie, an Australian Labradoodle. Before we end this video with Manchester and Lake Willoughby, I want to show you the sun setting over the Adirondack Mountains in Lake Champlain. From Perkins Pier, some of the most gorgeous sunsets you'll see. Now there's two routes you can take between Burlington and Manchester. There's US 7 and there's 22A. Both will take about the same time. I recommend 22A, as this will take you through Vergennes in the Champlain Valley and some of the most beautiful farmlands of Vermont. Little towns like Orwell. Now this is just south of the Fort Ticonderoga ferry we showed earlier. In Manchester is the estate of Abraham Lincoln's son, Robert, and his wife, Mary. It's a Georgian revival mansion with gardens, trails, and the Hildene Farm. It is open year-round and beautiful in winter with the snow. There are also 14 historic buildings, including the home, and an observatory. It is $23 for adults, $6 for children 6 to 16. Also in Manchester is the Southern Vermont Arts Center and the American Museum of Fly Fishing. And there's a trail that climbs to Mount Equinox. And I might mention, it's also very festive during holiday season. Manchester and Woodstock, I think, are two of Vermont's most popular towns to visit. And there's the capital of Vermont, Montpelier, with the Winooski River flowing through it. The town is the smallest state capital in the U.S., but probably the most beautiful, with historic sites and maple farms that surround it. For outdoor activities, there's Hubbard and North Branch Park, with hiking and mountain biking in the summer and fall, and cross-country skiing in the winter. The Capitol building is one of the oldest and best preserved of all U.S. capitals. At the top is Ceres, the goddess of agriculture, symbolizing the importance of that industry to this state. And finally, can't do a video of Vermont without mentioning the Northeast Kingdom. There's Newport, Vermont, near the Canadian border. It is on the south end of Lake Memphremagog. And there's also Lake Willoughby. The views here are just breathtaking, with the lake surrounded by the mountain peaks of Mount Pisgah and Mount Hor. You can drive on Route 5A around the east side of the lake. This is a 5-mile lake, and the water is extremely clear and beautiful. Well, there is so much to Vermont I didn't show. So many other little quaint villages. So I'd love to hear your experiences here in the comments below. From Mount Washington to Lake Winnipesaukee, this nature's playground gives us opportunities to truly live free, to explore the White Mountains and Lakes region of beautiful New Hampshire. The spirit to be free is not only in the state's motto and history, it is evident in its granite rugged landscapes. It's nature seemingly calling out to discover its trails, waterfalls, scenic roads, In this video, we'll start in Laconia, on the shores of Lake Winnisquam, travel around Paugus Bay to Weirs Beach, showing hotels, cabins, the Granite State Railway, and the Mount Washington Cruise. Then to the quaint town of Meredith, travel around the western shores of Lake Winnipesaukee, showing two gorgeous campgrounds in the Gunstock Mountain area. We then head to the White Mountains in Lincoln. We'll take you on the Granite State Railroad for a ride along the Pemigewasset River. Here, we'll show 4 hiking trails, including the Flume Gorge and the Basin. Further north, we'll take you on a tram up 4,000 feet to Cannon Mountain. From Lincoln, we travel east on the Kancamagus Hwy, showing 12 different stops along the way, to the gorgeous Saco River Valley in the town of Conway, where we show Cathedral Edge and the Conway Scenic Railroad. We'll travel up US 302 up the western side of Mount Washington through Bartlett and the Crawford Notch State Park. Watch the Mountaineer arrive at the historic train depot. See the Cog Railway in Carrol, New Hampshire, and show you a town that is perfect for a quiet, scenic getaway, with gorgeous bed and breakfasts on a mountain stream. We then take the very scenic Route 16 back south along the eastern side of Mount Washington, and end our video with a sunset on the eastern shores of Lake Winnipesaukee at Wolfeboro. We'll give you some valuable tips for visiting New Hampshire, especially during the fall colors. And now, beautiful New Hampshire. The Lakes region of New Hampshire is just south of the White Mountains, about a 2-hour drive from Boston. It is home to 273 bodies of water around its biggest lake of Lake Winnipesaukee. We enter from the south at Tilton, New Hampshire here, traveling along Lake Winnisquam. The Lord New Hampshire Hotel and Cottages on the right. And there's a Pirates Cove and mini golf here, with waterfalls and caves. Lake Winnisquam is the second largest lake in the region, the 4th largest in the state, considered one of the best lakes for fishing with bass, trout, and salmon. There's the Winnisquam Country Store and Deli to pick up bait and tackle supplies, as well as sandwiches and pizza. We cross the lake, now traveling on the eastern shores of Lake Winnisquam, as we head to the Lakes region's largest town of Laconia. Downtown Laconia has a vintage Main Street with a mixture of colonial and Victorian buildings. There's the recently restored Colonial Theater, built in 1914 for vaudeville shows, today a performing arts theater. There is also the Cake Theater in the Greek Revival style chapel, dates back to the 1800s. It's simply known as the Cake, hosts state-of-the-art performances. Also, the Romanesque style train depot here, built in 1892 for the Boston and Maine Railroad. It is here you can take a rail bike tour with the Granite State Railway. From May through October, they go along the shores of Lake Winnisquam on a 5-mile trip. It is $165 per bike and includes up to 4 people. They are owned by the same company that we did rail bikes in Blue Ridge, Georgia on this trip. Laconia stretches for 26 miles from Lake Winnisquam to the Paugus Bay, which is part of Lake Winnipesaukee. We travel around Paugus Bay towards Weirs Beach, as well as a gorgeous lakeside drive. It's another great lake for fishing. You'll find various trout, salmon, yellow and white perch, and bass. Laconia has several options for lodging. There's the Nazwa Resort. It's pet-friendly for a $25 per night fee. And there's Proctor's Lake House Cottages, also pet-friendly. You can book on Vrbo. In our 2020 video, we stayed at Sun Valley Cottages. It's a couple of miles from Weirs Beach, nestled in a forest. Was a great stay, reasonable rates. Weirs Beach is 6 miles from downtown Laconia, but within the city limits. As soon as you cross the bridge over the Weirs Channel, on the right is Endicott Park. There's a rock shoreline on the Weirs Channel side and a beach on the Meredith Bay side. There's parking along the street. The summer is prime season here, but we are here in the fall when it's not very busy. Here you can explore the lake by boat or train. There's the Winnipesaukee Scenic Railway, which is part of the Granite State Railway, which we'll ride in Lincoln. Here, there's a variety of excursions. From an hour to 90-minute tour, you can board here at Weirs Beach, or a 2-hour excursion from Meredith, or a 2.5-hour excursion from downtown Laconia. And there's Mount Washington Cruises with a 2.5-hour narrated tour that is $47 for adults, $27 for children 4 through 12. They also have a sunset dinner cruise and a Sunday brunch cruise, which is about $20 to $40 more, and a cocktail hour cruise, which departs from Meredith on a smaller vessel. 6 miles north of Weirs Beach is the town of Meredith, gorgeous as if out of a painting. It's a hub for outdoor activities in the summer, and especially colorful in the fall. In the center of downtown is the Bellows Falls Marketplace. A long boardwalk and walkway stretches around the lakeside, with a large pavilion in the center of town. The Laverack Nature Trail features a 0.6 of a mile long boardwalk through wetlands. We now head about 7 miles south of Weirs Beach to Gilford, New Hampshire. Here there's Faye's Boat Yard in Smith Cove, where there's boat rentals and fishing charters like Salmon Patrol charters. And another 3 miles south is Laconia State Park on the southwest shore of Lake Winnipesaukee. Here there's swimming with a 600-foot long beach, Gunstock Mountain there in the background. It is $5 for a day use pass, or $25 for camping, or $47 for one of the 37 RV spaces, which have 3-way hookups. Across the lake you can see the Sandwich and Ossipee Mountains. We are heading up to the Gunstock Mountain Resort to meet some friends. This is a 90-minute drive from Boston. With 49 ski trails, this is a popular 4-season ski resort. But during non-ski season, you can get good rates for camping. For RVers, there's full hookup sites. And for non-RVers, there's 2 cabins. There's lots of activities for the kids, including a large playground. In the summer, there's zipline tours, an aerial adventure park, mountain coaster, scenic chairlift rides, plus hiking and fishing. So during the fall, it's a great place to stay because it's off-season and you can get great rates, very beautiful, and it's pet-friendly. And you are just a 15-minute drive from Laconia to pick up some food, which I'm enjoying some Thai food with my traveling magician friend Nick Sharp and his wife Jennifer.
Green curry with vegetables and tofu.
This is the red curry with brown rice.
We'll come back to the other side of Lake Winnipesaukee at the end of the video to Wolfeboro, but for now, we head to the White Mountains. On the way up US 3 in Compton, New Hampshire, is the Blair Covered Bridge over the Pemigewasset River. Here, there's also the Covered Bridge Farm to Table restaurant. This is also close to I-93, so makes a quick stop off the interstate. Lincoln is the southern entrance to the White Mountains, the second largest town by size in New Hampshire. Now, a great way to get out into the backcountry is on the Granite State Railway, which they only allow service animals, by the way. At the train station, you have the Hobo Hills Mini Golf, which is $11.50 for adults, $9.50 for children 5 to 12. The White Mountains Visitor Center, located across the street from the train depot, a good stop to pick up the latest info on the region. These trains operate May through October and from Thanksgiving through December. It is a 60-minute round-trip ride along the Pemigewasset River as you travel across multiple vintage steel bridges. In the summer, it is $27 for adults, $22 for children 4 through 12. And $3 more during the fall colors, which is from the last week of September through October.
Passenger service was also offered for a time to the Grand Hotels in the area.
You learn a little about the region as it is narrated and ride in real vintage rail cars that date back to the 1800s. There is also the Lafayette Dinner Train that runs May through October with a 2-hour excursion. It includes a 5-course meal that is $125. Lincoln is a good place to stay for your White Mountains getaway because there's plenty to do and lots of eateries. I'll just point out a couple. There's Enzo's Pizzeria with New York-style pizza. And for breakfast and lunch, there's the White Mountain Bagel with a pretty good variety of bagels and sandwiches and a nice outdoor deck. Just across I-93 from Lincoln is North Woodstock, a pedestrian-friendly main street with quaint shops and restaurants. There's the Woodstock Inn Brewery with outdoor patio seating. There's several bed and breakfasts right on Main Street you can find on Expedia. And you might like these Monta-Up cabins right on the Pemigewasset River. 1 and 2 bedroom cabins, some with kitchenettes, from as little as $125 a night. And there's the dog-friendly Cascade Park with picnic tables and a stream popular for swimming, smooth rocks for sliding down the river. 10 minutes west of downtown is the Lost River Gorge and Boulder Caves. I stayed at the Travel Lodge, which was great, but they are not pet-friendly, only service animals allowed. However, the Quality Inn and the Hampton Inn are pet-friendly. We head north on Route 3. There's Clark's Bears, formerly Clark's Trading Post. This is a family fun park where you can watch a bear show. There's 5 museums on a Main Street setting. They have several unique rides, a Segway tour, water blaster boats, a climbing tower, an Anaconda Escape water raft ride, and a popular 25-minute train ride, where you travel through a 1904 covered bridge across the Pemigewasset River. It is $31 for ages 4 to 64, or $28 for seniors and military. And from mid-June through Labor Day is the Whale's Tail Water Park. There's live music on weekends. It is $50 for a day pass, open 10 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. Further up Route 3 is the Indian Head Trail, which is a 3.5-mile round-trip trail to Mount Pemigewasset. I had lost a set of keys here, searched for a long time but couldn't find them, but was saved by the staff at the Indian Head Resort across the street, who found them. I only realized it because I had a tile attached to the key, so it guided me to the resort. Highly recommend buying these and attaching them to your keys, wallet, or dog. They can really save you. At the resort, you can stay in their main building here, or they have these nice rustic cottages across the street. I'll put a link below for more info and to book. At the lodge, you have a great view of the White Mountains on the backside. Now we come to the most popular attraction in Lincoln, and that's the Flume Gorge, located in Franconia Notch State Park. It is open early May through October. It's $18 for adults and $16 for children 6 through 12 if you book your tickets online. And you want to book online because it can get booked up if you try to buy your tickets in person. Dogs are not allowed on this trail. This is a 2-mile trail with a couple of covered bridges. It generally takes about 90 minutes, although I did it in 45 minutes. This is a natural 800-foot long gorge at the base of Mount Liberty. There's a staircase boardwalk that goes through the 80-foot tall granite walls as you walk along the waterfalls. You do climb about 460 feet. A couple of miles north of Flume Gorge is the Basin.
So if you want a nice scenic area but don't want to pay the $18 for the Flume Gorge, you can come to the Basin. It's free.
Here there's a 2.5-mile out and back trail, and dogs are allowed here. This is a 30-foot wide, 15-foot deep bowl in the Pemigewasset River with 2 waterfalls. You watch the water cascade into a large granite bowl and whirlpool around its walls. As you travel north on I-93, you'll see Boise Rock. You can climb it on the Pemi Trail. There's a viewing deck at a rest area from the northbound lanes. On the right is Mount Lafayette, accessible on the Old Bridle Path Trail. And on the left is Mount Cannon, with an easier way to get to the top of this mountain via a tram. It operates daily from late May to late October, 9 a.m. to 4:30, and on weekends during winter months. It is $34 for adults, $29 for children 6 to 12 if booked online. On a clear day, you can see 4 states and even Canada.
Down here, there's a small hiking trail called the Rim Trail, the quarter-mile loop.
This tram takes you to the summit at over 4,000 feet. At the top, there's walking paths, a 360-degree observation deck, a cafe and bar. Now back in Lincoln, we head east on what many consider the most scenic highway in the country, the Kancamagus Hwy. Our first stop is the Lincoln Woods Trailhead, which is still part of Franconia Notch Park. Parking is $5 here. There's a pedestrian bridge over the east branch of the Pemigewasset River. This dog-friendly trail is a 9.4-mile out-and-back trail and connects with 4 other trails.
Stones we carry, clothes we lived in, all the tales we tell our children know.
This is Discovery Trail.
Taking the high road.
This scenic byway goes on for 34 miles from Lincoln to Conway, considered one of the best fall foliage viewing areas in the world. For optimum colors, it's usually around the first 2 weeks of October. Give yourself lots of time. I'd say take the whole day because there's lots of good stops and it can get crowded during the fall colors.
I'm setting the sun, I'm ready to run, I'm walking a tightrope. I give you the fall, spring, singing a song, we're taking the high road. We're taking the high road.
Near the summit on the Lincoln side is the Hancock Notch Overlook with views of the Osceola Range, Sugar Hill, and the Pemigewasset Wilderness. Closer to the summit, the Pemigewasset Overlook. And across the street, the C.L. Graham Overlook, which is the closest to the summit at 2,855 feet, with views of the Swift River and the mountains to the north and east.
Hearts are wayward, sun is swollen, rest tomorrow, the ways unfolding.
4 miles further east, now on the Conway side, is the Sugar Hill Vista, with views of Mount Tremont, Owl Cliff, and Bear Mountain as well. And another 2 miles down is the Sabaday Falls Trail. This is an easy 0.3-mile trail through the forest to the falls.
I'm setting the sun, I'm ready to run, I'm walking a tightrope. I give you the fall, spring, singing a song, we're taking the high road. We're taking the high road.
Traveling 5 miles down is Champney Falls Trail. It's a 1.4-mile trail to the falls. And another 2 miles east is Rocky Gorge. There's a pedestrian bridge, impressive rapids.
As it takes us, we're taking the high road.
By the way, I use a Carrol dog backpack. Makes it real convenient for places like this. I put a link here.
As it takes us, we're taking the high road.
And finally, 6 miles from Conway is Lower Falls, the most popular spot on the highway. Here the Swift River drops many feet, therefore creating multiple rapids.
Wherever you are, well, you know I will follow. Rivers to oceans, today and tomorrow. Taking the high road.
And our final stop, a mile from Lower Falls, is the Albany Covered Bridge, which you can drive across. This highway ends at New Hampshire Route 16 in Conway. It is here the Swift River flows into the larger Saco River, right at the Saco River Covered Bridge. There is parking on the east side of the bridge at the Davis Park Recreation Area. This Saco River provides lots of recreation. You can float down the river with the Saco River Tubing Center on 1 or 3 mile trips from mid-May to mid-October. It's $20 to $25 for adults and about $5 cheaper for children, and they are dog-friendly. There's Echo Lake State Park, which is $4 to enter, a good place for swimming in the summer and a picnic. There's a hiking trail around the lake and other trails which leads to Cathedral Ledge, which is popular for rock climbing. Or you can just drive to the top from May to October for a great view of the Saco River Valley. This gorgeous Saco River Valley makes North Conway the most popular destination in the White Mountains. And in the fall, it's stunningly beautiful. But as a result, lodging can get very expensive. I mean, if you are here on the weekends from late September to the second week of October, you will be very lucky if you can find a hotel or vacation rental for $500. Expect to pay between $600 to $800 a night on Fridays and Saturdays during that time. I stayed at this Days Inn, which is a 30-minute drive down Route 16 south of Conway, which is another gorgeous drive, by the way. Anyway, stayed here on a Friday and Saturday night, and it was $650 a night for a Days Inn. Now, I didn't pay that. I used my Wyndham points. And Sundays through Thursday night, it runs about $80 to $90, so they really jack you up on the weekends. So if you want to save money, plan your trip on the weekdays. Here I'm showing some dog-friendly places. Another reason for Conway's popularity is its downtown, a quaint village with mom-and-pop shops, eateries surrounded by mountains, and the beautiful Mount Washington Valley. In the center of town is the historic train depot of the Conway Scenic Railroad with several excursions. This is the Valley Tour, an hour-long ride that is $26 for adults and $20 for children 18 and up, with taxes and fees. They also have the longer trip to Crawford Notch, we'll talk about later. Across the street from the depot is Cafe Italia to pick up a latte or breakfast sandwiches and pastries, as well as Italian-style desserts for before or after your train ride. There's also the Metropolitan Coffee House next to the train station, and several other shops and restaurants, all within walking distance of the depot. Zeb's General Store here, an old-fashioned store with lots of locally made products. My favorite eatery is Thai Nakampeng, for great Thai food, very reasonable rates, and quick service to call in for a pickup. I'm having vegetable Penang, and Bailey's enjoying brown rice.
Crab rangoons, you gotta try them.
For younger kids, there's the Storyland theme park with over 50 attractions, rides, and play areas. We now head north on US 302 into the mountains. Next to North Conway is the town of Bartlett. We cross the Ellis River here. Bartlett is the closest town before you start getting into the wilderness and the mountains of Crawford Notch, so it's also a good place to lodge. There's the Bernerhoff Inn Bed and Breakfast, built in 1793, and the Golden Apple Inn. These are not pet-friendly, though. There's the Bartlett Covered Bridge Bed and Breakfast. Inside the covered bridge is a shop where you can pick up home decor items, candles, and accessories. There's the Inn and More. Now this is dog-friendly for $40 per stay pet fee. And Bartlett is home to one of New Hampshire's more popular ski resorts, Attitash. The Attitash Mountain Village, which has spacious suites and townhouses with kitchens, also cabins and cottages. There's plenty to do here with hiking and mountain biking trails, horseback rides, and in the winter, sleigh rides. There's heated pools, hot tubs, basketball and tennis courts, an outdoor fitness area. And their Alpenglow Lodge is pet-friendly for a $25 per night fee. A mile north of the resort is Thorn Pond that has a mile flat loop trail around the pond. There's a large parking area here. We passed by the Villager Motel, and that's pet-friendly. There's also several vacation rentals you can find on Vrbo in this valley here. Just search for Bartlett. Now in Hart's location, traveling along the Saco River as you enter the White Mountain Forest. The Bartlett area has 4 vintage railroad bridges. This is the 4th iron on the Sawyer River, and there's a parking area here. 2.5 miles north on 302 is the Bemis Pedestrian Bridge. This is part of the Davis Path Trail, a 15-mile trail that will take you to Mount Crawford and even all the way to Mount Washington. There's a large parking area here at the Bemis Bridge, a good area for a picnic with views of the river. And another 2.5 miles further north is the Arethusa Falls Trailhead. It is 1.5 miles to the falls with 885 feet of elevation gain. The falls are 160 feet tall. Three and a half miles north of the falls is the Willey House, where a landslide in 1826 killed 7 members of the Willey family. Across the street from the house, a very scenic pond, being located between Mount Willey on the west side and Mount Webster on the east side. There's a boardwalk dam over the Saco River and leads to a trail around the pond. It takes about 10 minutes, or the Sam Willey Trail, which takes about 30 minutes. Another 2 miles north of Willie's historical house is the Silver Cascade. This is a tall mix of plunges and waterfalls that flow down from Mount Jackson. It is easily accessible with a parking lot across the street, most impressive in the spring with melting snow. As we pass through the summit of Crawford Notch, on the right is Elephant Rock. The Elephant Head Trail takes you to the top, probably one of the best views. It's a little steep, but only 0.3 miles long. There's parking on both sides of the road, and the trail starts at Saco Lake, just across from the train depot. And speaking of, Conway Scenics Railroad Mountaineer coming through the Crawford Notch. This is about a 5-hour excursion, traveling over 50 miles. Coach class is $75 for adults, $52 for children 4 to 12. It's about $8 more during the fall colors, and about $100 more if you want to sit in the upper dome. This Queen Anne style Crawford Notch depot, a flashback to the railroad era of the 1800s. The Mountaineer continues another 4 miles north to Fabian Station, then turns around and heads back to Conway. The Omni Mount Washington Resort and Spa here in Bretton Woods, one of the last surviving grand hotels from the early 1900s, has both an 18-hole and a 9-hole golf course with great mountain views. A look at Mount Washington. Now there's 2 easy ways to get to the top. One is by the Cog Railway in Carrol, New Hampshire. This is one of 3 cog railways in the U.S., the other being Pikes Peak in Colorado and Quincy and Torch Lake in Michigan. This is just under 3 hours. You get 1 hour at the top of the mountain. We arrive now in another one of the most gorgeous parts of New Hampshire, Bethlehem, with the Ammonoosuc River running through it. There are several bed and breakfasts here, but probably none more beautiful than the pet-friendly Wayside Inn, right on the river. Rates are pretty reasonable too. You can reserve at booking.com. Bethlehem is a quaint village town, and in the fall, it's seemingly right out of a Thomas Kincaid painting. You'll find lodging in Bethlehem cheaper than lodging in Conway, and not as crowded. You're about 3 miles from I-93 here, so it makes it convenient to visit some of the places we showed earlier, like Franconia Notch State Park. There's the Colonial Theater, one of the oldest continuously operating theaters in the U.S., the Maplewood Golf Course and Inn, also with an 18-hole and 9-hole course. The Bethlehem General Store with authentic Indian food. As we head east, we go back around Carrol. This is where another great lodging option is at, the Twin Mountains KOA. We stayed here while filming the 2020 video and was good. Full hookups, pull-through sites for RVers. And they have a wide variety of cottages, from fully furnished deluxe cabins with a full kitchen to basic rustic cabins and glamping tents. You can even stay in this vintage caboose. Now, we make our way around the north side of Mount Washington. We pick up US 2, now in Gorham, New Hampshire, passing by Moose Brook State Park with hiking trails and camping and fishing.
Looking at a sky so clear, so much to discover here. Setting out on my own, all the places I can go.
Now, we pick up New Hampshire 16 and head back towards Conway, going through the village town of Gorham, which is nestled in the Androscoggin Valley, adjacent to the Presidential Mountain Range, another small town with appealing shops and eateries.
It's a long, long, long and winding road.
I'm going to do a video of the most scenic highways of the East, and New Hampshire Route 16 will definitely be high on the list.
All these answers left to find, many mountains left to climb, and though there's valleys down below, I got so much room to grow.
It's a stunning mountain pass with views of the Presidential Mountain Range on the east side of Mount Washington. Here it travels along the Peabody River.
It's a long, 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 long and winding road.
Earlier, I mentioned 2 easy ways to the top of Mount Washington. Well, here in Gorham, 20 miles north of Conway, you can drive up the auto road. It is $36 for adults, $15 for children 4 to 12. If you don't want to drive, you can take a 2-hour guided tour. That is $57 for adults, $35 for children 4 to 12. Now going through the Pinkham Notch part of New Hampshire. There's lots of good trails here along Route 16, just not enough time to show them all, but there's Crystal Cascades, a 90-foot waterfall on the Tuckerman Ravine Trail at the Pinkham Notch Visitor Center, and there's a scenic chairlift to Wildcat Mountain you might be interested in. Just north of Conway is the town of Jackson, New Hampshire. Now, we end our video taking you back to Lake Winnipesaukee. 36 miles south of Conway is Wolfeboro. Route 16 takes us to Ossipee, New Hampshire, and then Route 28 takes us another 8 miles into Wolfeboro.
Time goes on and seasons change. It's these moments that remain. And no matter where I go, I'll always hold him close.
Wolfeboro sits on the back bay in the Wolfeboro Bay, southeast part of Lake Winnipesaukee.
It's a long and winding road.
Wolfeboro is known as America's oldest summer resort because New Hampshire's colonial governor established his summer estate here in 1763. This led to the development of the town as a popular vacation destination. This town has a village atmosphere, very pedestrian-friendly, shops and eateries along Railroad Street and Central Street. They run parallel, leading to the railroad depot, which serves as the information center. The Wolfeboro Railroad would bring passengers to this resort town. Today, the Colton Valley Rail Trail follows the former train route for 12 miles around Back Bay and crossing Crescent Lake and Lake Wentworth. There's Bailey's Bubble to pick up some ice cream. And there's also Dockside Grill and Dairy Bar at the Wolfeboro Town Docks and boat ramp with a nice deck overlooking the lake. You can rent a boat here with Wake Winnie Water Sports. They also have wakeboarding and tubing you can do. Bailey's having a meet and greet with Maple, the Aussie Doodle. The Mount Washington cruise we showed earlier makes a stop here. For dining, there's Marker 21, the Wicked Loon, and Downtown Grill with elevated decks with nice views of the lake. There's Kate Park here. You can take a 45-minute boat ride on the Millie B, a wooden boat, offered by the New Hampshire Boat Museum. The museum itself is a 45-minute drive away in Moultonboro, another popular town on Lake Winnipesaukee. And if you want to see one of New Hampshire's best sunsets, try Brewster Beach. It's a small little beach with a parking lot, about a mile from the docks in Wolfeboro. Now, do you see why I think New Hampshire is one of the most beautiful states in the U.S.? There is so much to do in the White Mountains and Lakes region. I feel like there is so much I missed, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you have done here. If you would like to purchase
It's a long and winding road.
Here, you can sail away and find tranquility. Oh, the canvas can do miracles, just you wait and see. Gorgeous shorelines, mansions, tasty seafood, boat tours, and a water fire as we explore the sailing capital of the world, Newport, Rhode Island.
Let's sail away. Let's pretend we're born again. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's a good day to begin.
Seawater is rich in minerals, and the wind off the ocean air has a calming effect on the human body. So maybe, for some mental healing, you might want to consider a trip to the ocean state, Rhode Island. We had a couple of hours south of Boston to Newport, as well as several other locations in Rhode Island. In Newport, we'll explore the lively Bowen's and Bannisters Wharfs. We will take you on 3 different boat tours, all showing something different, including the Adirondack II schooner. We'll explore the coastline from the shore as we walk the famous 3.5-mile cliff walk from Easton Beach to Bellows Beach, showing beautiful mansions and the 40 steps with the waves crashing and the breakers. We'll travel down the historic colonial-era Thames Street. Then go across the bridge to Jamestown, showing the harbor, Fort Wetherill State Park, and Beavertail Lighthouse. Then travel further south to Point Judith, a small cape on the western side of the Narragansett Bay, with beaches and the Camp Cronin fishing area with scenic overlooks and jetties. We'll travel to the capital of Rhode Island, Providence, showing an amazing urban park and the water fire along the river that happens May through November, and then also to Pawtucket, showing the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. And we'll give you tips on travel and lodging. So join us as we explore the Ocean State. For a state that is only 48 miles long and 36 miles wide, the smallest state in the U.S., it is notable that it has 384 miles of coastline, from rocky cliffs to sandy beaches. While it is called Rhode Island, most of the state is on the mainland, carved out by the huge Narragansett Bay, which covers 2/3 of the state. There are actually 30 islands, with 4 main larger islands. One of them is Block Island, that is 14 miles offshore, where you need a ferry to get to. The largest island is Aquidneck Island, that Newport is located on. You can pretty much get to anywhere in the state in under an hour, so as a result, we're going to show much of Rhode Island in this video. The Claiborne-Pale Newport Bridge connects Jamestown with Aquidneck Island. It crosses the East Passage of the Narragansett Bay. At 2.1 miles long, it is much longer than the Golden Gate Bridge. Goat Island extends out into the bay, part of the city of Newport. The Newport Harbor Light sits on the north end of the island, also known as Goat Island Light. Newport, as well as its water activities, has a lot of colonial architecture and history. Rhode Island was the 13th of the original 13 colonies to become part of the United Colonies, symbolized on its state flag with 13 stars. The word hope comes from the Hebrew verse in the Bible, "Hope we have as an anchor of the soul." It was the first state to declare independence, actually 2 months before our nation's Declaration of Independence. Last week we saw the Boston Tea Party ship, but you could say Newport was the first to rebel against England, as they burnt down the British ship Gaspee a year before the Boston Tea Party. In colonial times, Newport was the rum capital of the world. Today, you can explore Newport Craft Brewing and Distilling Company, where you can taste the Thomas Tew rum, as well as craft brews, vodka, and gin. We enter the harbor area on Washington Street. Here is one of the best places for quick, fresh seafood, located on Long Wharf. The Lobster Shack, a dockside counter-serve eatery, serving lobster, crab, conch, fish, and delicious corn, ask Bailey, with picnic tables overlooking the harbor. Known as one of the best spots for seafood, with a great view. In the summer and fall, you'll find parking is a premium here. Lots can fill up very quickly. The bigger lots around the wharf are $20 to $40 a day. And the metered parking along the street through the Passport parking app is about $3 to $5 an hour. Now, if you don't mind walking about a mile, you can find some street parking that is free, but you always want to allow extra time for parking. From May through October, there's the free hop-on, hop-off Bellevue trolley, Route 67, that runs along some of the main Newport sites. In addition, there's the Newport travel trolley tours that start at about $26. We pass by Bowen's and Bannisters Wharf here, which we'll come back to in a bit. So there's an advantage to lodging in downtown, but lodging is also very expensive. You have the Hotel Viking here, but in the summer and fall, it'll be about $300 to $500 a night, and you find that's pretty typical for most places in walking distance of the waterfront. For a less expensive option, try Middletown, Rhode Island. It's just 3 miles away, also on Aquidneck Island. You'll find cheaper hotels here, about half the cost. And again, I have to rave about another pet-friendly Howard Johnson's, which is where I stayed. It was absolutely great. It has sliding glass doors that face the parking lot, so it made it easy to walk to your car. A good, clean, modern room, large indoor pool, jacuzzi, and a fitness center, and another excellent breakfast, complete with eggs, bacon, waffles, and a nice lounge. Alright, enough with the logistics. Let's begin the fun by getting you out on the water. Now, Newport is also a popular large cruise port. They anchor out in the harbor and tender passengers to Perote Park via small transport boats, and passengers have all day to enjoy Newport. This is the Queen Mary II, the longest ocean liner ever built, measuring at 1,132 feet. That is almost 4 football fields, 250 feet longer than Titanic was. It offers transatlantic cruises. For boat tours in Newport, most of them are at Bowen Wharf. This, along with Bannisters Wharf right next to it, is the center of entertainment and dining in Newport. A bustling harbor and square, lined with quaint boutiques, cafes, galleries, and sightseeing companies like Coastal Queen Cruises, which we are going to hop on. Grabbing some Italian ice at Bubba on Bowen's first.
Coconut Italian ice.
As we cruise out of the dock, we pass by the Lobster Bar, with dockside seating overlooking the harbor. On New Year's Day, they have a jumping off the deck cannonball competition. Don't think I want to be jumping off that deck in January. Coastal Queen Cruises does run most of the year, as it has an indoor area with a bar. They have an hour and 15-minute mimosa and lighthouse tour, starts at $34, or an evening cocktail cruise for $38. Also a 2-hour land and sea tour that includes the Newport trolley, and in early spring and late fall, there's a cruise that will take you out to see the local gray seals in their natural habitat. We sail by the Queen Mary II. And lots of sailboat and schooner activity here. So really, made for a nice cruise, so much to see just sailing out of the harbor. A college regatta near the bridge there. You can sail aboard an actual 12-meter America's Cup racing yacht. This is the Heritage Yacht, sailing by the Fort Adams Lookout Point. And there's the Adirondack too, which we'll do a sunset cruise on at the end of the video. This is the Hammersmith Farm, the childhood home of Jackie Kennedy, where her and JFK had their wedding reception in 1953. We sail by the Castle Hill Inn, built in 1875. You can stay in the mansion seen here, or they also have cottages. In the summer and fall, it's about $1,000 to $1,800 a night. Of the 3 boat tours I did, this was the only one that went underneath the Newport Bridge. This is the Rose Island Lighthouse. You can take a tour of $12 for adults, $8 for children, and they also have lodging. You can stay overnight. Before or after your cruise, you have plenty of options for food and drink, or to take a nap while the wife is shopping. There's 22 Bowen's Wine Bar and Grill, with dining on an open-air elevated deck, as well as portside right on the boat dock. Next to 22 portside is The Landing. Also has a second-story open-air deck with seafood specialties and raw bar platters, and live music. Was rocking it out pretty good on this day. Bannisters Wharf was a social and commercial lifeline of Colonial Newport. It is right next to Bowen Wharf, so the two of them really form a town square. On Bannisters Wharf, there's the colonial-style Clark Cook House restaurant. This is a high-end restaurant with a French, American, and seafood menu. There's the Black Pearl, a formal restaurant with a covered open-air patio right on the dock. At the end of Bannisters Wharf is a nice scenic platform overlooking the marina. Springtime Coffee is here to pick up a latte and pastries. You'll find Bowen's and Bannisters Wharf pretty pet-friendly, Bailey having a meet and greet with Lexi the Cavapoo. For West Coast style Mexican food, there's Diego's, a nice casual patio under trees and umbrellas. The Cookie Jar for sweets, cookies, and breakfast sandwiches. And for something quick, there's Luke's Lobsters to pick up a lobster roll. $38 for lobster roll and chips.
No lobster for you. That's too expensive.
Across the street from Bowen Wharf is Queen Anne Square, a nice colonial-era park, with historical buildings like Trinity Church, which was one of the few buildings that was spared when the British burned down Newport. The Historic District is the core of the original city of Newport, as it was during the years of its founding in 1639 to the American Revolution. Surviving buildings date back from the latter years of the 1600s. There are 75-minute guided historical walking tours through the city, beginning at the Museum of Newport History in the 1763 Brick Market. Tours cover the colonial period from the 1600s to Newport's role in the American Revolution, to learning where scoundrels lived and pirates profited. They are $20 for adults, $10 for children 5 to 12. Thames Street is the primary street in downtown Newport. It is one of Newport's original two streets, laid out in 1654. It goes for 1.5 miles and runs parallel to the waterfront. Part of it runs along America's Cup Avenue. This is also known as the Upper Thames. From America's Cup Avenue heading south, it is known as the Lower Thames, where it becomes a one-way street. It is here you'll find the Midtown Oyster Bar. Also Scooter World with mopeds, golf carts, and bicycles for exploring the area. Thames Street is lined on either side with a variety of shops, restaurants, and bars, as well as art galleries. Certainly the place for shopping in Newport. And there's several historical inns like the Francis Malbone House on the left. You can book on Expedia, or many bed and breakfasts you can find on Vrbo. All right, let's head to the mansions. After the Revolutionary and Civil Wars, Newport prospered in what is known as the Gilded Age, a period of rapid industrialization and economic growth in the late 1800s. Fortunes were spent on luxurious summer cottages. In the HBO drama The Gilded Age, many of the scenes were filmed in Newport at mansions like The Breakers, Marble House, The Elms, Rosecliff. These four are open year-round, and other scenes were filmed at Chateau Surmer and Hunter House, which are open seasonally. You can get info and purchase tickets at newportmansions.org. A good way to see these mansions and enjoy a scenic coastline trail is the 3.5-mile cliff walk with 16 points of interest. It begins here at Easton's Beach, also known as First Beach. There's a parking lot here about 3/10 of a mile from the entrance to the cliff walk that is $15 a day. And there's metered parking on the street for $2 an hour, limited to 3 hours. But in the summer and fall, these spots will fill up very fast, so you definitely want to come early. And about 1 mile into the cliff walk, there's limited street parking along Narragansett Avenue. This is a 1/2 mile from the Breakers, where the only restrooms along the cliff walk are at. Bailey having a meet and greet with Toby the Puggle and Lyric the Pit Bull. The 40 steps are located here. These steps lead down to Conrad's Cape and the ocean shoreline. Sailors and fishermen would gather here, as well as servants from the mansions during the Gilded Age. This is Ochre Court, a mansion owned by Salve Regina University. Further down the cliff walk, the Breakers, with 70 rooms, is the largest mansion in Newport and the 21st largest house in the U.S. It is 1.5 miles from Easton's Beach. There are benches along the way on the cliff walk, more so on the first part of it, not so much on the latter half, with 2/3 of the walk being an easy paved trail. But you lose that pavement temporarily after the Chinese tea house as you go around a bend. You have to be a little careful here because the pathway is narrow and there's no guardrails. After the bend, the pavement picks up again for a little bit. Then you lose the asphalt again as you approach Rough Point. It gets very rocky here. You'll definitely want to use hiking shoes or boots as you go around the John Russell Pope House, also known as the Waves. Then shortly after this point, you pick up the paved trail again, as it takes you to the end at Bellows Beach. To avoid parking hassles, note, you take the Route 68 bus to First Beach. After hiking the cliff walk, you can hop on the Route 67 trolley at Rough Point, which is 3 miles down the cliff walk from the start. Or if you do the whole cliff walk to Bellows Beach, it is just a short 0.3 of a mile walk back to Rough Point via Bellevue Avenue to catch the 67 trolley. Before we head down the coast and then to Providence, we jump on another boat tour, this time with Gansett Cruises, which is done on a restored 50-foot lobster boat with a sun canopy. They have mimosa cruises, harbor tours, and sunset cruises. It's $37 for adults, $34 for children 3 to 12, add $8 for sunset cruise. And you get a complimentary Dell's lemonade, which is a staple in Rhode Island.
And on the right-hand side, great view of Newport's skyline. And I know what you're going to say. One skyline.
Of the 3 boat tours I did, this had the best narration. Patrick here gave lots of interesting info in a very entertaining way.
But the King of England found out what was going on, and he got really mad. He told our governor, put an end to piracy in Newport Harbor, or I'm going to have you executed.
And another thing you might want to do on the water is to take the Jamestown Newport Ferry. You hop on it at Perotti Park or Ann Street Pier. It goes to the Fort Adams Recreation Area, which hosts an annual Newport Jazz Festival and Folk Festival. Fort Adams is $6 per person and is dog-friendly. The ferry also goes to the Rhode Island Lighthouse and across the Narragansett Bay to Jamestown. The historic Jamestown Village has a quaint mix of shops and fresh seafood restaurants, all within walking distance of the ferry. Like the Narragansett Cafe, voted Best Neighborhood Bar and Grill, with live music by Rhode Island Monthly. You can rent kayaks, paddleboards, and bicycles from Jamestown Outdoors on the East Ferry Wharf. There's a long sidewalk, makes for a nice walk along the Narragansett Bay. Stunning harbor views overlooking the bay and the Jamestown Bridge. And there's several vacation rentals you can find on Vrbo here in downtown Jamestown. Further down the coast is Fort Wetherill State Park, where you can explore an abandoned military fort, scenic hikes, fishing, kayaking with views of the Narragansett Bay. We pass by Mackerel Cove, also known as Jamestown Beach. It's sheltered from the currents of the bay, thereby making it great for swimming. And there's the Beavertail Lighthouse and Museum, was America's 3rd lighthouse, the first in Rhode Island, built in 1749. It's open May through October, and on selected days, you can climb the tower for a suggested $5 donation. There's a 49-step spiral staircase and a 7-foot ladder to reach the observation catwalk. If you have the time, you want to make the drive along the south coast of Rhode Island to Point Judith. There's the Scarborough State Beach, one of Rhode Island's most popular beaches in the summer. There's full facilities with outdoor showers, as well as indoor heated showers. 30 minutes southwest of Newport is Narragansett, Rhode Island, where the Point Judith Lighthouse is located at. This lighthouse is on a Coast Guard station, so you can't go inside, but you can walk around the perimeter. On the west side of the lighthouse is the Camp Cronin fishing area. This is a hidden gem in Rhode Island you have to check out. You can park right next to the ocean here. Makes for an easy walk to the shoreline. There's a small flight of stairs to a little memorial garden that sits on a hill overlooking the lighthouse and the Atlantic Ocean. A beautiful stone beach. This is an excellent place to listen to the waves crashing. And it's not very crowded. There's a super long jetty that extends way out into the Atlantic. 3 miles west of the Point Judith Lighthouse is the Port of Galilee, an authentic working New England fishing village. It is across the harbor from Jerusalem. Yeah, sounds like you are in Israel, but this is still Rhode Island. Galilee has a great selection of seafood restaurants, like George's of Galilee, with an elevated deck overlooking the Block Island Sound. The Salty Brine State Beach Recreation Area is here, It is inside a 3-mile seawall, so protected from the surf, makes it safe for swimming. Parking does fill up quickly though in the summer. Here you can take a ferry to Block Island, which is located 14 miles offshore. Takes 55 minutes to get to, or they also have a high-speed ferry. Takes 30 minutes. It is $24 for adults, $11 for children, for a same-day round trip, and about $80 with a standard-sized vehicle. Block Island is midway between Long Island, New York, and Martha's Vineyard. You can bike around the island, hike the Mohegan Bluffs, do horseback riding, kayak, or enjoy the beautiful beaches and 2 lighthouses. All right, let's head to the capital of Rhode Island, Providence. We head north following the Narragansett Bay. At Providence, it splits off into the Seekonk River. And about 30 minutes north of Providence is Pawtucket, where the Seekonk River becomes the Blackstone River. Here at Slater's Mill is where the Industrial Revolution began, where America went from a nation of farms to an international industrial power with its first water-powered textile mill. It's right next to I-95, so makes for an easy stop when traveling. Guided tours of the mill are free.
All under the agreement that he is going to...
Pawtucket has a lot of your classic New England architecture around the river, like the Art Deco City Hall here. There's actually 2 waterfalls. There's one at the mill and the Pawtucket Falls next to the bridge. For centuries, Native Americans would cross the river on the rocks below the falls to travel from one side of the Narragansett Bay to the other side. The Providence River Bridge carries I-195 in Providence. It is the next bridge after the Newport Bridge to cross the bay. Here it is the Providence River before it feeds into the bay. Providence, the capital of Rhode Island, is one of the oldest cities in New England, founded in 1636. The neoclassical Rhode Island State House building, which is the 4th largest structural dome in the world. At the top, the Independent Man statue, representing freedom and independence. The tallest building in Rhode Island is the Industrial National Bank Building, but better known as the Superman Building, because of its resemblance to the Daily Planet in the Superman TV series. It has been vacant for a decade, but is currently being renovated. Providence developed as a busy port, being at the head of the Narragansett Bay. One of the most beautiful, massive urban parks you ever see is here, Roger Williams Park. They have a big zoo here, which I was going to film, but my schedule put me a day behind, and the day I ended up here, the zoo was closed. But the park itself outside the zoo is worth making a trip here. You could easily spend a whole day here. There's a museum of natural history with a planetarium, a carousel village, a Japanese gardens, a botanical center, gorgeous walking paths, and a bike park, all spread out around 5 lakes. At the Dalrymple Boathouse, you can rent small electric boats, duck paddle boats, or kayaks, and the park is pet-friendly. Being it is close to I-95, this makes a good stop if you are traveling further into New England to take a break from the driving and enjoy the nature. Parking is free. It is exceptionally colorful in the spring and the fall. And 5 minutes south of the park is a really good pet-friendly La Quinta Inn located in Warwick, Rhode Island. Reasonable rates, clean modern rooms, and they had a really good breakfast. And one thing you must do in Providence is experience a water fire. Water fire is typically held May through November on Saturday evenings about twice a month. The event is free and open to the public. While the fires happen from sunset to midnight, the festivities really start about 3 hours before sunset. Downtown Providence is nice, with waterside trails on both sides of the Providence River. Makes for a nice walk. The river is also great for kayaking. You can rent one with Providence Kayak. For a 75-minute rental, it's $30 for a single or $45 for a double kayak. There's vendors all along the river for food, drink, and ice cream, as well as live street performers. The Michael Van Leesten Memorial Pedestrian Bridge opened here in 2019. More than just a bridge, it serves as a community gathering place with benches in the middle. The 195 District Park across the river is set up with picnic tables, food tents, and food trucks. A raw oyster bar underneath a big tent. They are currently building a year-round food and beverage pavilion. That should be opening soon. Tables and chairs lined up on the Riverwalk. I picked up a fish cake sandwich.
Yeah, as far as I know.
As the sun starts to set, more and more people start to gather. You can feel the buzz in the air, people excited. You can take a romantic Italian gondola ride with La Gondola. $89 for 2 passengers. During the water fire, it's $139. Can fit up to 6 passengers. The water fire centers around a series of nearly 100 bonfires that blaze above the river, illuminating nearly 2/3 of a mile. You can hear the crackling flames, smell the blazing cedar and pine. There's soft music, with a flotilla of torch-lit vessels cruising the river. And finally, we end this video back in Newport on the schooner Adirondack II. This is operated by Newport Classic Cruises, a classic harbor line company whom we mentioned in our Boston video, which operates Adirondack 3 and 4 in Boston Harbor. This is an 80-foot, turn-of-the-century schooner with masts over 70 feet. Holds up to 57 passengers. They also have the schooner Madeline, slightly smaller, holds 49 passengers, and they have a couple of yachts. They sail from May through late October. I'm on the last scheduled sail of the season on October 21st, but they ended up sailing a few more days after this. There's several tours on either of these schooners. I'm doing the Sunset Cruise, which is $64 to $68 for adults. Only ages 12 and up are allowed for this tour. Children are allowed on some of the other tours. We raced the Enchanted Princess with Princess Cruise Lines out to sea. It looks like the Enchanted Princess 83,000 horsepower engines are just too much for the Adirondack II. It cruises out to New York City, Boston, Portland, Maine, and Halifax, Canada on a 7-day cruise. The schooners are nice because they can get a little closer to the shoreline than the yachts can. Being on the sea with no motor running, setting low to the waves, feeling the gentle sea breeze on the skin, just the sound of the sails adjusting to the wind, and people enjoying good conversations. It's worth a trip to Newport, Rhode Island. As the sun sets on Narragansett Bay, we come to the end of a great time in the Ocean State.
Sleep in our hotels, eat in our restaurants, drink in our bars, find our souvenirs, and probably take a harbor tour. Yeah, they were you people. They were the original tourists. We loved them. We thought they were fantastic.
Hey, let's sail away. Let's pretend we're born again. Whoa, hey, let's fly away. See the sunrise every day. It's a good day to begin.
Has now arrived in Boston Harbor.
3 British warships lie at anchor. No need to look for them. Just trust me. They're there.
Hopefully we get things resolved here tonight, but only time's gonna tell.
Freedom, the ultimate struggle of humanity.
Constable, unhand me!
No, you must come with me.
Here, courageous people stood up.
Playing dice, our cards, and our dog.
From the cradle of liberty
Here, here.
to lobster rolls, chowder, and cannolis, we'll show you how to have a good time in Boston. Today, its historical significance, the amount of green spaces, sports, and culture make Boston one of the most attractive destinations on the East Coast. With the help of one of our sponsors, Boston City Pass, we'll take you to the top of the Prudential Center for an amazing view. and on the Boston Harbor City Cruise, touring the skyline and the harbor from the water and out around Castle Island. Take you inside the New England Aquarium, travel around Boylston Street, and enjoy a game at Fenway Park.
Can you believe it?
On Beacon Hill, stop by a bar where everybody knows your name. On the West End, we'll travel down the beautiful Charles River Esplanade, all the way to Harvard University. After exploring the first public park in the U.S., the Boston Common, we'll walk the Freedom Trail on the brick-laid and cobblestone streets of the 1700s. Through the North End, where you can taste Boston's best foods, and across the bridge to Charlestown. Watch the street performers at Faneuil Hall. Go inside of Quincy Market and travel to Quincy, where John Adams lived. We'll go back in time to 1773 at the Boston Tea Party Ship and Museum. Give info on all the other boat tours, water taxis, duck boats, and ferries that go to some of the popular areas around Boston, like Salem, known for its witch trials of 1692.
Follow me, good people, for the afternoon report for Salem Town.
We'll show you all your other options for bus and trolley tours, including the ghost and gravestone tours, and take you to Foxborough, where there's still patriots battling today. Explore North Point Park. Take you inside the Museum of Science. We'll help you navigate the city so that you don't lose your head while dealing with the traffic. We'll give detailed info on using the subway. It's time to explore Boston. Boston was founded on the Willamette Peninsula in 1630 at the confluence of the Mystic and Charles Rivers by Puritan settlers. At the time, it was almost completely surrounded by water, but land was filled in on the surrounding waterway. So, the Boston you see today, 1/6 of it is built on man-made land. Areas like the West End, Back Bay, in fact Fenway Park and Logan Airport are almost totally on man-made land. Boston is relatively small. At 48 square miles, it is considered the second smallest major city in the U.S., only behind San Francisco. Under 700,000 people live in Boston, but when you calculate the whole metro area, that includes Cambridge, Quincy, Salem, and over 40 other cities, its population is almost 5 million, the third most populated metro in the Northeast, only behind New York and Philadelphia. And then you factor in over 40 million people visit Boston each year. It means parking is very expensive and driving is an adventure. To ease traffic congestion, Boston built 3 tunnels, a mega project known as the Big Dig, between 1991 and 2007. It rerouted I-90 and I-93 and constructed the Zachem Bunker Hill Bridge over the Charles River, and created the Rose Kennedy Greenway, a linear urban park with landscape gardens, fountains, and promenades. I'd have to rank Boston about 4th or 5th most challenging metros in the U.S. to drive in. It is not only the amount of traffic, but the way the roads split off with 2-way and 3-way forks, roundabouts, lack of good signage, the condition of the roads, narrow lanes, and poor lighting at night. And then you add in the mixture of tourists having to navigate the roads with fast local drivers on your bumper. Can be a little intimidating. The good news, though, is Boston has a great public transportation system. Technically, it's called MBTA, but it's better known as the T. It was ranked by Metro Magazine #1 in the U.S. Between the rail, subway, buses, and ferries, it allows riders to get nearly anywhere in the area within 30 minutes, and it has one of the lowest crime rates of mass transit systems in the U.S. The passes are called Charlie cards. It is $11 for a 1-day or $22.50 for a 7-day pass, and there's multiple locations where the subway connects with the commuter rail.
So this moves so much faster than I-93.
Many people would choose to stay in Hingham, Massachusetts, and use the ferry to get to downtown Boston. This gives you a scenic water tour of the harbor. You can also use this ferry or the Boston Water Taxi for a fun way to get from Logan Airport to Boston or Charlestown. And the taxi also goes to Rose, Atlantic, Battery, Sargent's, and Liberty Wharf. So, because of all that, it is good to find lodging close to a subway, a ferry, or railway station. I stayed at a couple of hotels south of downtown while filming. First was this pet-friendly Ramada Inn, 5 miles from downtown. It was a good room, good breakfast, but about 3 miles from the nearest subway station. Then a little further south, in Quincy, about 8 miles south of downtown, was this pet-friendly Howard Johnson's that I really liked. It was a spacious, modern room, had a very good breakfast with eggs, sausage, bacon, waffles, bagels. And the best part was, it was a half a mile from the Williston subway station, which has a large parking lot with a modest $6 a day on weekends, $3 on weekdays to park.
Echoes, whispers under stones.
Our first attraction, a definite must-do, is View Boston. You take the Green Line to the Prudential Station, and it's a 2-minute walk to the Prudential Center, where you take an elevator to the top. There's an indoor observation deck with floor-to-ceiling windows, and an outdoor observation deck, and there's also interactive and immersive exhibits, and the Beacon Bistro and the Stratus Rooftop Bar. It is good to do the View Boston first because you can get a real good perspective of how the city is laid out. To the northeast is the Boston Common, Old South Church, Boylston Street, and the downtown skyline. Directly north, the Longfellow Bridge, the Hatch Memorial Shell, the Charles River Esplanade, which we'll take you on in a bit, and that greenway is the Commonwealth Avenue Mall. To the west, I-90, the Kenmore Fenway neighborhood, and Fenway Park. To the southeast, I-93 in Dorchester Bay. And due east, I-90, Logan Airport, and Boston Harbor, which we are headed to next. You can purchase a ticket by itself or do the Boston City Pass, where you get admission to 4 different attractions at a rate close to half of what you would pay if you book individually. It is $74 for adults, $62 for children 3 to 11. Plus the app gives you really good info. You get 9 consecutive days to book those 4 attractions. At the bottom of the Prudential Center is Eataly. This is an upscale Italian food hall with counter-served eateries and restaurants, as well as a grocery store. There's everything from focaccia to pizza to fancy Italian desserts. Certainly, one of the things you must do in Boston is to take a boat tour of the harbor. We are headed to the Long Wharf for the Boston Harbor City Cruise. You get to it on the Blue Line, stopping at the Aquarium Station. And it's an easy walk across the street to Long Wharf. But first, let's show you the New England Aquarium. This is also one of the attractions on the Boston City Pass. If you book it by itself, it's $39 for adults, $30 for children 3 to 11. So you see, just another $35, and you get 3 other attractions with the City Pass. It is a timed entry admission. You can easily make a reservation through the City Pass app. Here you can see California sea lions, lots of penguins, harbor seals, sharks, rays, majestic sea turtles, and more. We head across the street to the Long Wharf, where you board the Boston Harbor City Cruise, which is also part of the City Pass. They have a variety of cruises. We are taking the Historic Harbor Cruise, but they also have the Wildlife Tour, a Lighthouse and Tales of Boston tour, and a whale watching tour that is 3 to 4 hours. And there's also dinner cruises. Now, if you book individually, the Historic Harbor Cruise is $40 for adults, $36 for children 3 to 11. Also on the Long Wharf is the Chart House, a high-end seafood and steakhouse. At the end of Long Wharf, a nice promenade with benches to watch all the boats in the harbor. There's the Boston Harbor Walk that follows the edge of the piers along the beaches and shoreline around Boston Harbor. When completed, it will be 43 miles long from East Boston to the Neponset River. We pass by Rose Wharf. Here you have a couple other boat tours too. The Music City Queen Riverboat by Massachusetts Bay Lines. And there's also classic harbor lines with the Northern Lights cruise. And the Adirondack 3 and 4 schooners. Now in our Rhode Island video coming next, we'll be sailing the Adirondack 2 out of Newport. Continuing down the harbor is the Institute of Contemporary Art Museum, not a part of City Pass. It is $20 for general admission. You access it on the Silver Line from the courthouse station. Now, if you like to live on the harbor, try the Pier 4 luxury condos. A 13-foot square foot 2-bedroom, 2-bath starts at $2.2 million. The Leader Bank Pavilion here, a 5,000-seat outdoor amphitheater, hosts concerts from May to October. We sail right under the final approach for Logan Airport. You get a nice view of the plane's landing. And just across from the airport is the Castle Island Recreation Area. On it, Fort Independence, which played a key role in both the Revolutionary and the Civil Wars. On the other side of the fort is where the Harbor Walk extends down to Dorchester. This is where a lot of Boston's beaches are at, like Carson Beach. And next to the fort is Marine Park at Pleasure Bay, great for bird watching. There's not really a subway stop near here, but this is one of the few places in Boston that does have ample parking. With a free lot at the fort and metered parking along the street, there's the Head Island Pedestrian Causeway, where you can walk all the way out into Pleasure Bay and onto Fort Independence. This cruise also goes to Charlestown and around the USS Constitution, which we'll walk to on the Freedom Trail later. There is also the 80-minute Boston Duck Boat Tours, which you have the option to board at either the Aquarium, the Prudential Center, or the Museum of Science. It is $53 for adults, $38 for children 3 to 11. And the Boston Sightseeing Double-Decker Bus has an 80-minute tour for $39, or for $49 you can hop on or hop off at over 8 stops. The Old Town Trolley, also a hop-on, hop-off tour with 18 stops, is $50. And they also have the Ghost and Gravestone Tour, led by a 17th century gravedigger who recounts Boston's sinister characters as it goes through multiple burying grounds and a haunted hotel. Also, through City Experiences, you can take a 50-minute scenic ferry ride to Salem for $33. Salem was first settled in the early 1600s.
God save King William!
Was a significant seaport in early American history, and it's known for its infamous witch trials of 1692.
Pray for the souls of those afflicted by the devil's hand.
Bridget Bishop, the wife of Edward Bishop of Salem, has been cried out upon by those poor tormented girls.
At the town hall, you can actually take part in a jury of the trials at Cry Innocent.
You good people know I am not a witch.
It is $20 for adults. Children 10 and under are free. $16 for students up to 12th grade. During July, August, and October, it's $4 more.
In with you, good wife.
There's the Essex Street Pedestrian Mall, pretty vibrant during the summer, and gets extra lively the month of October. In June is the Salem Art Festival. You'll find street performers here, like my friend Nick Sharp.
Harry Potter's got nothing on me.
No, wait!
Like Boston's Freedom Trail, Salem has the Heritage Trail, about 3 miles long. It shows 400 years of history, from indigenous people to colonial Salem, abolitionism to contemporary Salem. While the witch trials is a big part of Salem, it is really so much more, with festivities, tours, and good restaurants, like the Village Tavern Bar and Grill, with patio seating on the mall.
At the end of the day, Salem is all about entertainment.
From the aquarium, we head south towards the Tea Party Ship, which is 3/4 of a mile down the Harbor Walk. We pass by the Boston Harbor Hotel, located on Rose Wharf. Across the street, the Trillium Garden on the Rose Kennedy Greenway, a seasonal beer garden featuring craft ales, wine, and a food truck. And a little further down, the James Hook and Company, a waterfront seafood eatery for takeout. The Tea Party Ship is next to Atlantic Wharf. You can access it on the Red Line. It's 1/4 of a mile from the South Station. This is a guided tour with actors.
In Boston Harbor! Here's Samuel Adams! Huzzah!
You start off in a meeting room.
Final chance to affect the outcome of these events in our favor.
Willing participants are given a card of a patriot with words to read.
I was forced to choose between new windows or putting food in my family's bellies.
I share my concerns.
They also tax our playing dice, our cards, and our dogs.
I wanted to tell Sam, you should see how taxes are in the 21st century.
About 500 yards away in this very body of water, 3 British warships lie at anchor. No.
Then it's time to throw tea in the harbor. You get a tour of the ship and also shown a pretty good short film. This is not part of City Pass. It is $35 for adults, $26 for children. And there's Abigail's Tea Room, which you do not need a ticket for. Fenway Park, perhaps the most beloved ballpark in baseball. Parking around Fenway is very limited and very expensive. I mean, you're talking $60 to $120. This garage at 100 Clarendon Street is about a mile and a half from Fenway, is $40, and next to the Back Bay Station. So I'd recommend parking further out from the city, like the Williston Station we showed earlier. To get to Fenway on the T, you take the Green Line to the Kenmore Station. It does get more crowded as you approach Fenway. From the Kenmore Station, it's an easy 3/10 of a mile walk. The old Sit-Go sign overlooks Kenmore Square, installed in 1940, a landmark of Boston. You'll see locks on the bridge crossing I-90. They symbolize couples' commitments to each other. Some eateries around the ballpark are Cask and Flagon, a TV-packed sports bar with patio seating overlooking Fenway. The Lansdowne, an Irish pub, and Loretta's Last Call with Southern dishes. On Jersey Street, you'll find pregame entertainment, the Hot Tamales Brass Band. The tallest Red Sox fan is Big League Brian. We'll take selfies with the fans. And of course, you have to have a lobster roll from Luke's Lobsters.
So what's it like living in Boston?
The traffic's great, the people are amazing, it's the best city ever.
On this day, they were honoring longtime announcer Joe Castiglione, who was retiring after 42 seasons. As a result, was able to see several famous Red Sox players. This stadium is the oldest in Major League Baseball. It was built in 1912, famous for its 37-foot wall in left field known as the Green Monster. Also known for its grandstand, a throwback to the older ballparks. So when you are booking tickets, they'll show you a picture and you want to try to pick a seat where the support pole doesn't block the view of the home plate. You can take a guided tour of Fenway Park year-round for $25. If you do it on game day, last tour departs 3 hours before game time. On this day, the last game of the season, they were playing my home team, the Rays. Both teams with identical records having disappointing seasons. But despite that, you would never know it by the passion of the fans. Their traditional singing of Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline. Just a block from Fenway is Boylston Street, one of the most well-known streets of Boston. It travels from Fenway to the Boston Common by the Prudential Center we showed earlier, the Lenox Hotel at Copley Square, the Old South Church, which dates back to 1669, although this Gothic Revival building was built in 1875. Across the street, the Copley Subway Station on the Green Line, next to the Boston Public Library. This is where the finish line of the Boston Marathon is at, the site of the bombing in 2013. On the next block is Trinity Church at Copley Square. Boylston Street ends at the Boston Common in the center of Boston. There are 3 subway stops for the Boston Common. On the Green Line is Arlington Station on Boylston Street, and there's Boylston Station at Tremont Street. On the Red Line is Park Street Station, the closest to the Visitor Center. This is America's oldest park, founded in 1634. So many important events have happened here in its almost 400-year history. From George Washington to the Pope to Martin Luther King, this Embrace statue honors MLK and Coretta Scott King. There's a hilly circular running route that is 2 miles long to show you how massive this 50-acre park is. You'll find live musicians in warmer season. Several beautiful walking paths along the water within the park. There's an off-leash dog area. Boston Common is bordered by 5 streets. One of them is Beacon Street, which leads up to Beacon Hill, a historic neighborhood with cobblestones and gas lamps. Also on the street is the Cheers Bar, the inspiration for the popular TV series that ran from 1982 to 93. You can get pub grub here. The other side of Boston Common is bordered by Tremont Street in Chinatown. There's a stop on the Orange Line at Chinatown Station. Here you can grab some good Asian food. You'll see lots of flags of Taiwan and not China. Boston is a sister city of Taipei, Taiwan. In fact, the Taiwanese government gifted this Chinatown gate to Boston as a symbol of friendship between the two cities. On Tremont Street is a visitor center with info and restrooms. This is where the Freedom Trail begins. The Freedom Trail is 2.5 miles long, connects 16 significant historical attractions. You follow this brick-lined path on sidewalks, brick and cobblestone streets, from the Boston Common Visitor Center, by the Massachusetts State House, along downtown to Faneuil Hall, and then through the North End and over the Charles River to Charlestown, ending at the Bunker Hill Monument. There are a couple of guided tours you can take that are 1 mile long. First, the Walk into History tour from the Boston Common. Some of the places it covers is the Massachusetts State House, Park Street Church, the Granary Burying Grounds, where John Hancock and Samuel Adams are buried, the Old South Meeting House, and the Old South State House, which is where the Boston Massacre happened, and it ends at Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Or you can do this tour in reverse.
Sam Adams and John Hancock and Paul Revere would meet under cover of darkness to plot out the movements of the Sons of Liberty.
And there's the North End tour, which begins at Faneuil Hall Marketplace, goes to the Paul Revere House, and travels through the Paul Revere Mall, where his statue is, and leads to the Old North Church, Copp's Hill Burying Ground, and other historical places in Boston's oldest neighborhood. Both tours are $17 for adults and $8 for children 6 to 12. And of course you can walk to all these places at your own pace. Across from Faneuil Hall is the Distraction Democracy Beer Garden at the Old City Hall. There's the Sam Adams Tap Room with an elevated terrace overlooking Faneuil Hall. To get to Faneuil Hall by subway, there's about 3 stops super close. The Government Center Station on the green and blue lines next to Old City Hall. Also the State Street Station on the orange and blue line, and the Haymarket Station on the orange and green lines. In front of Quincy Hall, you'll find world-renowned street performers from June through October, like Snap Boogie. There's Alakazam, we saw in our St. Petersburg video. And Jason Escape.
2, here we go!
Inside of Quincy Hall is a food market, over 50 eateries with a variety of food, bakeries, and desserts. Everything you could want. Because of its easy access with the subway, and because food here is a little cheaper than eating at restaurants, I would regularly come here for a quick meal or coffee. Oh, and very important, in the center of Quincy Hall is where the restrooms are at. There's not a whole lot of public restrooms in downtown Boston, so note where the restrooms are at. I'm picking up some lobster and chowder at Boston Chowder here. Now, if you want to do a sit-down restaurant, there's the Union Oyster House, the oldest restaurant in Boston, and oldest with continuous service in the whole U.S. Also here, the Union Street Park, where the New England Holocaust Memorial is at. At nighttime, these towers are illuminated. There's a nice courtyard next to Quincy Hall under beautiful trees, where me and Bailey are going to enjoy lobster and chowder.
What do you think of Boston chowder?
It was here I ran into subscribers Todd and Dorinda visiting from KC.
I just had watched your video before we came in, and it's like that movie Inception. The buildings are like moving in on you, and you're zigzagging around everywhere, and you don't have any signs on when you're going to turn, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's a great vibe. The water right there is my favorite.
Your closest subway stop to the north end is the Haymarket Station, located on the orange and green lines. Then it's an easy walk across Cross Street. The North End has some really good food known for its Italian restaurants, like the Ciao Roma restaurant, an old-fashioned eatery with pasta and classic Roman cuisine. It's about $50 to $100 per plate. There's Carmelina's, about $30 to $50 a plate. And Giacomo's, $20 to $30 with elevated seating. There's Theo's Cozy Corner, $10 to $20, open for breakfast as well, with American, Italian, and Brazilian dishes. And you also have to get a cannoli here. There's two very popular bakeries, Mike's Pastries and Modern Pastries, across the street. In the summer and fall, you'll find these places very crowded though. So I recommend Bova's Bakery. Every bit as good, and you won't have to wait as long. And they are delicious. And for high-end coffee and espresso, try the Thinking Cup. Also has house-made pastries and sandwiches. From the north end to finish the Freedom Trail, you walk over this pedestrian bridge next to the Zachem Bunker Hill Bridge to Charlestown. This is where the USS Constitution ship is at, the oldest naval warship afloat. By subway, the two closest stops, Community Station on the Orange Line and North Station on the Green Line, are both over a mile away. So I recommend taking the MBTA ferry, just a 10-minute ride from the Long Wharf, to the Charlestown Navy Yard. The ship is free, but to visit the museum, they ask for a $10 to $15 donation. The ship fires its cannons at 8 a.m. and sunset. And a half mile from the USS Constitution is the Bunker Hill Monument on Breeds Hill. To climb this monument, you enter the Bunker Hill Lodge. There is no charge for this or for the adjacent museum. On the other side of the Bunker Hill Bridge is TD Garden, home of the recent world champion Boston Celtics. Here is the North Station, a transportation hub, with commuter rail, intercity rail, bus, and the subway green and orange lines. This is another good place to get something quick to eat, with the Hub Hall Food Court. Has 18 different food and drink vendors. Underneath the Bunker Hill Bridge is Paul Revere Park. Bike and pedestrian trails head underneath I-93 as we enter Cambridge and right onto the north bank of the Charles River. All this was created by the Big Dig project. In 2015, this Lynch family skate park was added. We ride through North Point Park. There's a playground here. And come to the beautiful Charles River Dam Bridge, built in 1786. On this bridge is the Museum of Science. You can access it on the Green Line, stopping at the Science Park West End Station. This museum is part of the Boston City Pass. If you book it individually, it's $31 for adults, $26 for children 3 to 11. There are 4D films and planetarium shows at an additional cost. Lots of interactive exhibits, including one where you can fly a virtual drone in the Arctic. There are some live animal and reptile exhibits and dioramas of New England habitats. And you can go inside an Apollo space capsule. Only service dogs are allowed here, by the way. And there's the Theater of Electricity with demonstrations of a Tesla lab. We now head back to the Weston neighborhood of Boston on the south side of the Charles River to the Longfellow Bridge. While the Freedom Trail is Boston's most popular walking path, I think the most beautiful trail has to be the Charles River Esplanade. There's no parking, so to access it, you'll want to use the subway. Take the Red Line to the Charles MGH station. From there, it's a scenic quarter of a mile walk over Storrow Drive on the Francis Appleton Bridge. The Charles River Esplanade begins at the boathouse It is here with community boating. You can rent kayaks, paddleboards, $34 for 2 hours, and they are pet friendly. There are multiple large boat dock platforms if you'd like to just chill right on the water. The Hatch Memorial Shell here, best known for hosting the Boston Pops annually on the 4th of July, but it's also used for free concerts, most weekends and selected weeknights during the summer months. Further down is Night Shift Esplanade, an outdoor beer garden featuring rotating food trucks, open from the spring through October. Running along the roadway is the Paul Dudley White Bike Path, which is a 17-mile loop trail that runs on both sides of the river, and you have the option to shorten it, cutting across the many bridges. The Charles River Esplanade technically goes on for 3 miles, ending near this outdoor gym, but it leads to the Paul Dudley White Bike Path. So really, you could go biking to your heart's content. We are taking it to Harvard University. Now, to get to Harvard by subway, you just take the Red Line to the Harvard station. Harvard is the oldest institution of higher learning in the U.S. Founded in 1636 by a Puritan clergyman, John Harvard. It is a private Ivy League research university, considered one of the hardest universities to get into. Out of every 100 applicants, only 4 are admitted. Next to the university is Harvard Square, a triangular plaza lined with coffee houses, cinemas, and a variety of eateries with outdoor seating. Like Felipe's Taqueria. In the summer, you find street performers here. There's Clover Food Lab to get some quality sandwiches and bowls with wholesome ingredients.
So it's an egg and eggplant sandwich with a hibiscus iced tea.
Sounds weird, but it tasted pretty good. While the battles of the Revolutionary War are over, there are still patriots fighting 30 minutes south of Boston. At Gillette Stadium. Of course, being from Tampa, I had to thank Patriot Nation for giving us Brady and Gronk a few years back. The Patriots have been struggling a little in the post-Brady Belichick era, but fans still having a good time.
Hey!
Next to the stadium is Patriot Place, a small strip mall with shopping, dining, and entertainment, kind of similar to the Battery next to Truist Park we saw in the Atlanta video. Even a little fire pit here to keep warm. There's the Scorpion Bar, a Mexican restaurant. Tavolina, a contemporary pizzeria. Davio's, a northern Italian restaurant. Bar Louie Bar and Grill. And high-energy entertainment at Splitsville with bowling, top golf suites, dueling piano bar, and more. "10 miles south of Boston in Quincy is Peacefield, the John Adams house. There's guided tours of both his house at Peacefield and the Adams farm at Penn's Hill, the birthplace of both John Adams and John Quincy Adams. Tours are $15 per person, and it includes a trolley ride. Adams often gets overlooked in history because of the president before him, Washington, and the one after him, Jefferson. But Adams played such a key role. One thing I would recommend before you visit Boston is the HBO miniseries, John Adams. It covers the history of the Revolutionary War and is very well done. That way you really have a perspective of these historical sites you visit in Boston. I must say, I had my preconceived notions about Boston, but the city was much better than I expected, despite the traffic. It's a gorgeous city and played such a vital role in the early history of our country.
Well said!
I hope this video will be a good aid for you, especially in navigating around Boston, so that you can use your time in the city to have fun and enjoy and not be stuck in traffic. If traveling with a dog, these Carrol dog backpacks are the best. It saves your dog from excessive walking and allows you to bring a dog where you otherwise might not be able to. From Boston, I wish blessings to you wherever you may be.
Here, here.
With its vast, tranquil nautical setting with endless things to do, you can clearly see why this state is called Vacation Land. While its coastline is 300 miles of driving, if you account for all the peninsulas, harbors, and coves, Maine's shoreline is over 3,400 miles long. So come with us as we show Rumford, Bar Harbor, Belfast, Camden, Rockport, Damariscotta, Boothbay Harbor, Wiscasset, Bath, Portland, Cape Elizabeth, Saco, and ending in Kennebunkport, as we explore one of America's favorite vacation destinations, coastal Maine. "160 miles later, it is morning in Bar Harbor, as the sun rises over Bar Island and the Mount Desert Narrows. During low tide, you can walk to this island on the Bar Harbor Land Bridge. You can't see it now because it is high tide and covered by water. In the distance, Acadia National Park, one of the more scenic national parks. It is cold this morning. We find a good hot chocolate latte at Chocolatte. You can expect when it's cold to have a good 20 to 30 minute wait at good coffee shops. We'll check out more of downtown Bar Harbor in a little bit. But first, we have a scenic train ride to catch 30 minutes northwest of Bar Harbor in Ellsworth, Maine. The Down East Scenic Railroad takes you back in time with a ride on vintage passenger rail cars. A 10-mile, hour and 45-minute round-trip train ride through some natural wildlife areas of Maine. It is $17 for adults and $9 for children 3 to 12. It is pet-friendly. This is a great way to see the fall colors as you go through the foliage on railroad tracks through the town of Ellsworth and across bridges. Back to Bar Harbor on Mount Desert Island. The Frenchman Bay leads out to the Atlantic. We are going to start on Main Street heading north to the waterfront. Village Green Park on the left, a grassy central town square with benches, gazebo, and summer concerts. Next to the park, the Beer Works, a pub bar seafood restaurant with a second floor outdoor seating with a great view. A walk through the villages of downtown Bar Harbor is a shopper's paradise. You can pick up unique items that you just can't find anywhere else. Or just enjoy a gelato, sorbet, ice cream, or yogurt at CJ's Big Dipper. There's a great article on TripAdvisor, Bar Harbor, a village walk. We'll put it in the link below. Great tips for when visiting downtown Bar Harbor. The architecture, the trees, the lamps, the benches just gives it a nice, quaint, maritime atmosphere. Igamont Park is located on a little hill overlooking the harbor. This is a nice place to enjoy your ice cream with your loved ones and watching the boats in the harbor. There is a big parking lot here, a good place to park so that you can walk both the villages and the waterfront areas. Of course, any visit to Bar Harbor has to include a cruise so that you can see all the little islands around here, as well as the coast of Maine. Frenchman Bay, named for the French explorer Samuel de Champlain, who visited the area in 1604. We'll show you some of those cruises in a bit. But let's look at some of the waterfront eateries. Sunrise Cafe, a good spot for coffee. It's a cafe with lobster rolls and blueberry pie. Blueberries is something else you have to experience during your trip to Maine. More blueberries grown here than any other state. Steuben's Lobster Pound, another great spot to enjoy lobsters, clam chowder, imported beers and wines. Near the Fish House Grill, you can take a narrated trolley tour of Acadia National. We stayed at a couple of hotels in the Bar Harbor region. First was the White Birches Motel, near the Down East Scenic Railway. It is 30 minutes northwest of Bar Harbor. This was a great motel. Pet-friendly, nice-sized room with kitchenette. Great for an extended stay. We also stayed at the Days Inn in Bar Harbor. It was a decent room as well. As we get ready to head south on Route 1, we pass through the town of Ellsworth, the gateway to the Down East region of Maine. We cross over the Union River. At times, Route 1 runs along the coast, but at other times, it is quite a distance from the shoreline.
Unlike other states that have a fairly even coastal rim, Maine's coast is formed with jagged land masses, islands, and peninsulas. As we cross over the Penobscot Narrows Bridge, if you really want to see the coastal areas of Maine, you have to take smaller highways, sometimes for quite a distance, along some of the islands and peninsulas of Maine, which can take some time to get to. Because we have some time constraints, there are some coastal towns like Castine, Maine, that we are just going to have to skip, but show the coastal towns that are either on Route 1 or not too far away from it. Just know that there is so much more to Maine's coast than even what you are seeing on this video. One of those beautiful Maine towns on Route 1 is Belfast, located 80 miles north of Portland at the mouth of the Passagassawake River, on the shores of Belfast Bay and Penobscot Bay. Belfast, a national Main Street designated downtown, is called the broiler capital of the world, and each July thousands come here to eat barbecued chicken on Broiler Day, just one of several festivals held here. Comfy waterfront dining bar eatery with seafood and steak at the Nautilus Seafood and Grill. Heritage Park sits right on the water and has picnic tables and hosts seasonal events and concerts. How about eating some lobster while sitting on the beach? You can do that at the Lobster Pound at Lincolnville Beach. This beach stretches for a half a mile, right off of Route 1, 7 miles north of Camden. Artists from around the country are drawn to Camden for the scenic views of Penobscot Bay from the Camden Hills State Park hillsides. As a result, photographers, painters, sculptors create an assortment of handcrafted items which can be found in the Main Street specialty and gift shops in downtown. The Camden waterfront, a confluence of salty sea, bobbling boats, greenery, and waterfalls. The Mugutukuk River Falls. The Camden Harbor Park attracts visitors with an amazing landscape design amphitheater with panoramic view of the harbor. A great place to enjoy the quintessential New England village, sailboats, and white steeples amidst the fall foliage. Take a 2-hour cruise on the schooner Surprise, which sails 7 days a week from May to mid-October. You can help raise the sails or steer the boat. Because it has a limited amount of passengers, it has more cushioned, comfortable seating. It is $47 for adults, kids $37. You'll sail past lighthouses, seaside mansions amidst seals, porpoises, osprey, and bald eagles. Also check out Camden Harbor Cruises, the Lively Lady. Peter Ott's on the water, as well as a great view known for its steaks, pastas, and local seafood. We head out of town on Elm Street. About 20 minutes west of Camden are a couple of good wineries, the Savage Oaks Vineyard and Winery, and the Sweet Grass Winery and Distillery in Union, Maine. Rockport is named for its rocky terrain. It provided most of the stone used in the U.S. Capitol building. Although smaller than Camden, Rockport has become one of the hidden gems of the mid-coastal Maine region. Named one of America's prettiest towns by Forbes magazine, it has a more laid-back atmosphere and is halfway between the more crowded towns of Bar Harbor and Kennebunkport. It is a very picturesque seaside town with plenty of schooners and fishing boats in the harbor. Rockport Marine Park, the location of the Andre the Seal statue, honoring a seal who used to entertain people in the Rockport Harbor. Damariscotta and its twin village of Newcastle are separated by a bridge and the Damariscotta River. This is where you can get great shellfish, oysters. In fact, they have 2 oyster festivals every year. There is the oyster celebration here in early summer, and in autumn there is the annual Pemaquid Oyster Festival. Take a 2-hour cruise while tasting the freshest oysters with wine on the 49-passenger River Tripper for $70. Other cruises without the oysters are $31, or enjoy live music and seafood at the Damariscotta River Grill. We now take Highway 27 to Booth Harbor for some of the most scenic drives on our journey. If you account for all the inlets and bays in Maine, its coastline is 3,478 miles. Wow, that is more than the distance from Miami to Seattle. We cross the Townsend Gut on the Southport Swing Bridge. This Booth Bay region has multiple coves and harbors. At Decker's Cove, how about a sunset dinner at Robinson's Wharf? A waterside seafood restaurant with an oyster bar and nice views of the tugs and lobster boats in the cove. This has to be some of the most scenic drives in the country. Kind of reminds me a little of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, only more color, more variety of scenery here as we drive around Mill Cove to Booth Bay Harbor. Booth Bay Harbor is a popular yachting and tourist destination. There are many hiking trails with scenic views of rocky shores, coastal islands, and river corridors. It is about 3 hours north of Boston. It is a beautiful protected harbor bustling with boat activity. Several festivals here, including Windjammer Days in the summer. Balmy Day Cruises has several boat tours to choose from, with trips to Squirrel Island or Monhegan Island, lighthouse tours, sailing trips, and fishing cruises. The Booth Bay Footbridge is a 1,000-foot wooden pedestrian bridge that connects one side of the harbor to the other, with beautiful views of the water and the boats. We now head to what is probably the most prototypical name for a New England town, Wiscasset. Now back on US 1, we cross the Sheepscot River. Wiscasset was at one time the busiest seaport north of Boston. The Sheepscot River is popular for lobster catching. So a good place to get a fresh lobster roll is at Sprague's Lobster right on the river with waterfront tables. I find these lobster shacks versus a formal restaurant are the best places to get fresh lobster. Less of a wait, they are usually slightly cheaper and more fresh. Just delicious. Wiscasset is known as the prettiest village in Maine. It has plenty of old world architecture with colorful foliage. Moving further southwest on US 1, 35 miles north of Portland is A Taste of Maine restaurant, where you can not only get to taste Maine seafood, but also inside it is filled with beautiful antique collectibles from all over Maine. Or you can dine outdoors on a sun deck with beautiful views of the river. A nice gazebo here too if you just want to take your food and eat by the river. So you wonder, what's with the Christmas music? Well, that is because we are headed to Bath. Nestled on the banks of the Kennebec River is the town of Bath. As we cross the Sagadahook Bridge, this is one of the most charming towns you will find. It is one of those towns that you would see in a Lifetime Network feel-good Christmas movie. The town celebrates an old-fashioned Christmas every year. Linwood E. Temple Park has got to be one of the coolest parks I have seen. Unbelievable color. This is where the guy in the movie realizes he made a mistake and he runs back into the arms of the girl he really loves. And then they get on a boat and ride down the Kennebec River and live happily ever after. As we get closer to Portland, US 1 becomes more like an interstate. To the right, the Androscoggin River bike path in Brunswick, Maine. The trail runs for 2.6 miles along the Androscoggin River. US 1 merges with I-295 over the Tukey's Bridge as we enter Portland. The Portland waterfront boasts a true working harbor in Maine's largest city, with tourism, dockside restaurant, historic architecture. You can ride aboard the Maine Narrow Gauge Railway for $12 for adults. Children 3 to 12, $6. Regular rides on weekends and also special themed holiday rides. The 4 Points Marina. The Sail Maine Community Sailing is located here, with programs for all ages and all skill levels for group sailing. Casco Bay Lines has ferries for both residents and tourists to the islands around Portland. Rates are very reasonable, round trip around $10 or under for most islands. You can also bring a bicycle or pet on board for a nominal charge. The Old Port waterfront features fishing wharves and converted warehouses with restaurants and shops. The downtown is full of Victorian-era buildings, including the Victoria Mansion Museum. Commercial Street, which runs along the waterfront, was named one of the 10 best streets in the U.S. by American Planning Association. It was built upon the old piers in the 1850s. Now heading to Cape Elizabeth, we cross the Casco Bay Bridge on Route 77. The Portland Headlight sits on the entrance into Casco Bay as we enter Fort Williams Park. This is one of the best lighthouses to visit, not only because of the lighthouse itself, but also the scenic areas around it. The jagged rocky cliffs, with the pounding Atlantic surf, so picturesque. You can actually walk out on the rocks, as you saw me doing at the beginning of this video. There is a museum located in the former keeper's house. To learn more about the history of this lighthouse and the area, this lighthouse, which George Washington directed to be built, opened in 1791. Whale oil lamps were originally used for illumination. Today, the light is a 400-watt lamp that is visible for 28 miles. It stands 101 feet above the water. It is the oldest lighthouse of Maine. Also on Cape Elizabeth are the two rubble stone towers of Cape Elizabeth Lights, also known as Two Lights, built in 1828. The western tower was deactivated in 1924. However, the eastern tower is still active and simply known as Cape Elizabeth Light. President John Quincy Adams appointed the first keeper of this lighthouse. The Two Lights State Park gives a great view of the lighthouses as well as exploring the shoreline, but no access to the actual grounds of the lighthouse. We saw the Saco River in our New Hampshire video. Well, the city of Saco, Maine is near the mouth of the river, another attractive vintage mill town with breweries, wineries, shops, great coffee, and the scenic Saco Falls. Saco is another restored, vibrant, and lively Main Street. The state of Maine has just done a great job with their Main Street restoration projects. It is a model that I think many other states should follow. With so many gorgeous rivers in this state, Maine has really got it going on and deserves the motto, Vacation Land. A unique museum you might like is the Seashore Trolley Museum. See how urban public transportation has progressed through the years. Just fascinating. Events throughout the year and upcoming Christmas events. You can ride the Heritage Railroad in a vintage trolley from the early 1900s. A collection of vehicles from almost every major U.S. city that had streetcar systems. Highly recommend this, and it is dog friendly. Kennebunkport, a longtime year-round resort destination, is a 40-minute drive south of Portland, known for its shopping, long sandy Goose Rock and Arundel Beach. Kennebunk's Lower Village and Dock Square are located along the ocean and Kennebunk River, a very scenic area for walking. It is a long-time shipbuilding mecca, where you can see schooners making their way down the river to the sea. On the hillsides, impressive antique mansions. Here you can find unique gift shops on brick-laid sidewalks with vintage street lamps. Whale watching and sailing excursions at First Chance Whale Watching Cruises, with narrated cruises educating about the marine culture of Maine, while seeing whales, giant swordfish, playful dolphins, and other wildlife. Also at Eco Adventures, you can take a small first-class, more intimate excursion, where every seat has a 360-degree view. Go into more remote areas that other boats can't reach. At Coastal Maine Kayak and Bike, you can take guided tours, or rent kayaks, paddleboards, scooters, or bikes to really explore the beautiful landscape around Kennebunkport. Federal Jack's Restaurant, a tavern and pub with upscale grub, water views, and house-made ales. To some, Maine is just that state in the Northeast that has lobsters. I know, I felt that way. But after filming here, just so impressed. More and more people are starting to realize that this just may be the ideal vacation getaway. Maine also reminds us that life is about people as well. That downtown should be a warm and inviting place where people socialize. And Maine is making that happen with so many charming downtown Main Street villages. From sailing in Bar Harbor to a walk down Main Street in Bath, to crossing the Casco Bay in a ferry, Maine has so much to offer. We are Tampa Aerial Media. We shoot travel promos across the USA. For licensing or stock footage, contact us at info@tampaaerialmedia.com. Thank you for joining us during this whole 3-state, 4-video journey of autumn in New England. We appreciate all the comments and the new subscribers. I hope that we are a help to your vacation planning. Blessings to you wherever you may be.